Okay, welcome back to 2S, the Horror Quarters podcast. Bringing back Spawn and Vito. Fellas, what's going on?
What up, motherfuckers? We're back once again.
Yes, they're back to discuss the Nightmare on Elm Street
Long
franchise.
awaited.
So have at it, fellas.
Yeah.
It's your ball.
So this is one that I've been wanting to really take time with because the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise is near and dear to my heart. Before Nightmare on Elm Street, I liked horror, enjoyed horror. But after Nightmare on Elm Street, I was just a horror fanatic, and it was my gateway in. I wouldn't necessarily say that because I want to say Poltergeist was my first love towards horror, and then the Friday the 13th. But what took it to the next level, where it became an obsession, where everything was horror, I couldn't get enough of horror, was A Nightmare on Elm Street. And the first time it's so funny. The person that liked the horror the least in my household was my stepfather, Tony. And he came in or talked to me. He was like, "Hey, Eric, I saw it wasn't a trailer. I saw a preview for this movie called A Nightmare on Elm Street. And there's a scene where the guy's face is going through the wall. And just with him describing it, my imagination just ran wild on it. And I could not wait to see it. And it's so funny. When we went to rent it, we were like, a movie about nightmares and dreams. And the guy gave us Dreamscape instead.
Still a dope movie, though.
Still a dope movie, yes. And my man from The Warriors is in it. I recommend Dreamscape. It's not as iconic as Nightmare on Elm Street, but
it is a minor cult hit,
it's
though.
a great, I love Dreamscape. But I digress. So Nightmare on Elm Street is just, to me, it was everything that I wanted in a horror. It had the supernatural element, but fucking scary as hell. It had the iconic character by the name of Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger became a big part of my zeitgeist as a fan. He was like for years, up until about 88, 89, he was my number one slasher, over Jason, over Michael. I had the Freddy action figure, like it was like a big old rubber thing that, I think it was LJN.
This thing was rubber? What were you doing with this?
It was a dildo. No. I had the glove that you got at Spencer's. It wasn't...
Were they different sizes on this glove?
So it was like the Freddy glove. It was plastic, but it was super dope. I was Freddy in 1988. My stepfather did the burnt makeup. I wish I still had those pictures. I don't know where they are. I had the sweater. I had the fedora. It wasn't... I didn't do the shitty mask. I had my stepdad is an artist, so he was able to give me the Freddy burnt look. It was super dope. I was Freddy in 89. I was Freddy in 88. And then I got grounded for calling the Freddy hotlines back in 87. It was like $100 in 87.
Which is like $1,000 in 2026.
Dude, I was... They were gonna kill me, my parents. I think it was the Freddy and the Captain Lou Albano wrestling hotline.
Oh, I like that, dude.
So I think it might have been $100 between both of them, but still. The thing about the fucking hotline is that it would start in the middle. So Freddy'd be talking about something, and then I'm like, what was he talking about? Then I would have to wait till the end, and then that's how they would.
That's how they get you.
That's how they got you. So no, Freddy was my number one guy. I had the Freddy shirt similar to that one. I'll forward it over to Santana. He could edit it in. That was my favorite shirt. I used to rock it. I have so many years. I got that shirt 87 until it was like young as hell on me. I would rock that fucking Freddy shirt. Dude. It was
now it looks like a
shirt.
Sleeveless T-shirt.
Now it's a bow tie on me. But yeah, no, I love Nightmare on Elm Street. It's one of my all-time favorite franchises. I've discussed it at length, especially Dream Warriors. So let's get into... go ahead and talk about if you have a love for the franchise, and then we'll break down 84.
This is the only franchise that gave me fucking nightmares. Mm-hmm. These movies are dope, but fuck. Yeah. This is the one fool where each time I watch it, I would see this fool in my dreams. No joke. So I didn't go back to these movies a whole lot until later in life when I stopped having those nightmares. And I don't know what it was about these fucking movies, but this is the one motherfucker that would honestly, I would have a nightmare about. Yeah. So, I seen him as a kid, fortunately, what people don't understand is that in the 80s, he was a phenomenon.
Oh yeah.
He was like, dude,
Cabbage Patch, as big as the Cabbage Patch.
No, he was like the Luke Skywalker of villains when you think about it. You had costumes, toys.
Yep.
So, everybody had to see him. I remember he had the greatest posters.
Yeah.
His posters are like something like out of a heavy metal magazine. Yep. So even his movies, like from 3 and on, were like events. So if I didn't see it in the theaters, I would watch it on VHS when my friends would get it. So, but yeah, this motherfucker would cause me nightmares.
He's the best. He had the thing that the dynamic about Freddy, and we're going to break down movie by movie, but the dynamic by Freddy was the tongue-in-cheek aspect and his punchlines and the delivery of Robert Englund.
Yes.
Now, I didn't know it was Robert Englund until like years later, like maybe 87, 88.
Yeah.
But I remember liking that actor on V. That was the first time I saw him.
Mm-hmm.
And V was another phenomenon for you kids out there. It was like a mini series, but he killed it and he stole every scene he was in. I'm a big Robert Englund fan.
Very charismatic.
Very charismatic. So they were gonna just have him be another stunt guy, like like the Michael Myers or Jason, and they went with an actor, which was the smartest thing they could have done.
Oh, absolutely. So, I don't. Something couldn't do what Robert did.
No one. So let's break down A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984, directed by Wes Craven, one of the greatest horror directors of all time. Now, when I first saw this, dude, it was one of the scariest, most surreal. That opening scene on the filth of his workstation, where he's building the glove and the knives and putting that all together, and it was just like, because in the 80s it's like Rambo when he's getting ready to kill. When Commando's getting all his weaponry, it was just that it had that vibe. And you're like, who's the man behind that glove?
It was almost like you're watching Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees prep to kill someone.
Right, and we never got that.
No, we'd never. And that's what made it so more intense. That you were watching a serial killer prep before he goes after the prey.
Yes. So that opening scene with, I believe it's Lisa.
Yes.
Yeah, where he's chasing her, and the whole arm spreading, and it looks cheesy. But I
never thought it looked cheesy.
Well, no, I'm talking with today's eyes.
Oh, okay.
Today's eyes, it looks cheesy.
Really? Because
to me, it looks fucking.
It looks surreal.
It
still looks surreal.
To me, in my mind canon, I hear the bones cracking.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And then like, this is God. You know what I'm saying? And then like him just cutting his fingers off, and then the green squirt. It was just so. He just took pleasure in your discomfort, took pleasure in your fear. Mm-hmm. It just gave him a hard on, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't think anyone could have pulled off that role.
The fact that he even spoke made it even more scary. Like he actually said something to you.
Yeah. Because, Jason, Michael, a lot of the villains, even the slumber.
They were silent.
They were silent killers,
And this guy was taunting you.
Yeah. The burning, he didn't say a fucking word, you know what I mean?
He said Al.
I'm on fire. So I mean, Nightmare on Elm Street to me is one of the most iconic horror movies of all time. It's when we're long gone, it'll still remain. To me, and my favorite final girl, Nancy Thompson. She's just. And I'm gonna go on. And I know Santana's not gonna like this or appreciate this, but I'm gonna go on record. Nancy Thompson is the greatest final girl in the history of horror.
Get the fuck out of here.
I take her over Laurie Strode's a survivor.
I know where you're going with this.
Laurie Strode is a survivor. Sally from Texas Chainsaw, a survivor. Amy, what's her name?
No, Laurie fought back. She stabbed Michael.
Yeah, she stabbed him, but she survived. She was a reactionary. You know what I mean? She reacted. She didn't get prepared. Nancy had the bombs ready. Nancy was reading up on this. Nancy figured it out. Nancy had a plan, and she executed it seamlessly, flawlessly. Even though her mom had to die.
No, I'll give you that. No, those are great points. Yeah. I'll give you that. She was
Kevin McAllister. 6 years before Kevin McAllister.
Yes.
You know what I mean? She had everything prepped. She figured this guy out way better than even the parents who burned him alive. You know what I mean?
Right?
She knew exactly what to do. She knew how to beat him. She figured it out when she got the piece of his sweater
out. Yes.
Yeah, she figured it out. Nancy's the best. There's no one above Nancy. Then she hands him his ass. I'm jumping ahead. She hands his ass to him in Nightmare on Elm Street 3. You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't say that.
Well, I mean, who had the final kill shot?
Freddy did.
No, he didn't. Freddy kills Nancy, and then so he's about to get they're They're throwing the bones in the thing, and then she fucking comes with Freddy's glove and stabs him.
You're right. I take that back.
I'm telling you.
I take
Nancy,
that back.
number one. Heather Langenkamp, number one. Johnny Depp's debut. You know, and it's so funny because that first girl was kind of like it was kind of like Drew Barrymore, where you think she's going to be the final girl,
right?
And then when she gets it, in that iconic scene where they're rotating the thing,
that was insane.
That was insane.
That scene still holds up.
Yeah,
absolutely. And you know what's funny? She was also Wayne Meyer's girlfriend in Better Off Dead.
Yes, I was just going to bring that up. Yep.
Judge Reinhold's girlfriend in
Fast Times
at Ridgemont High.
Yeah. Yeah, so she, you know, that's why I thought she was going to be the one. You know what I mean? Because I never saw Heather prior to that.
I think she did it like an after-school special prior, but yeah, nothing.
Yeah,
this was like a big shot.
Yeah, Johnny Depp's debut. You know what I mean? So to me, I mean, it still holds up weight. My one problem with Nightmare on Elm Street 1984 is that final scene where they pull the mom through the fucking the window,
the glass door,
and it just looks like
the glass window of the door.
The glass window of the door. To this day, it throws me off and it takes me out. It just looks like a dummy. And I know you and Corey are like, "Oh, it's a dream sequence.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be wacky." Get the fuck out of here. It's bad graphics, bad practical effects. I don't believe you. You need more people. No, that's bullshit.
And I say total bullshit to that, folks. And let me tell you something. There is something very surreal and freaky about that.
That was whack and poorly executed last-minute bullshit. Shay wanted that in. And
Shay was smart.
Yeah, and no.
Bob Shay, folks, the producer.
Bob Shay wanted it in. Wes did not want it in.
It was a good call.
Yeah. I like the car with the Freddy sweater, and they're all in the car. But
that was kind of corny to me. That was funny. It's funny how
I'll take that over the fucking the dummy being dragged to it.
No, and I hear you. I just think it's kind of funny though. I dig the mom being dragged in through the peephole of the door, but I didn't feel. I thought the convertible top on the Freddy car was kind of corny, but I still dig it though. But it's funny how. Right. And again, I say, folks, you watch the movie. You let us know how you feel about that.
I that just bugged me. It always takes me out of it. And that's why it's so. I won't say nothing, but
you know, a couple of
go ahead.
A few facts on this one. So this movie grossed $57.1 million on a $108 million budget.
Damn.
And they actually reserved $57,000 for some of the more ambitious special effects. And I would have to assume
the spinning wall.
That it was basically a rotating house. Right. What they built so that she can.
And they used that for the Johnny Depp blood scene.
Yeah. Right? Okay. Well, that went on when. Tina, what's her name? Was Tina, right?
Oh, yeah.
When Tina. She was being dragged through the wall and the ceiling. That's how they. So basically, they strapped the actor. I believe his name was Jesus Garcia. Mm-hmm. So they strapped him on. So when he's screaming for Tina like this, he's actually strapped in as he's being turned upside down. Mm-hmm. And the actress who played Tina is obviously loose. So when the house is rotating, she's just rotating with gravity. So she's not actually being flipped up in the air.
Yeah,
it's just the house rotating underneath her, and she's just kind of going with that role. Mm-hmm. And a couple other things here. Freddy was now this is gonna be a little controversial, but Wes Craven's initial idea was that Freddy and at the time there was a big scandal with a particular preschool that had allegations against it. This was big in California. Mm-hmm. So New Line Cinema said, you know what, this is a little too close to home. Let's change him from an abuser of children to a child killer. Mm-hmm. And it probably worked better for the series because obviously Freddy using children is just way too is a disgusting act.
Right.
So
I mean, not that killing children is better, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, it goes from bad to worse. So they chose bad over the worse.
Yeah, because I think that, I mean, if you look at the parts where they do the flashback, like in part 6, or if some of the prequel aspect in Freddy's nightmares, it works better that he's a child killer, but he would also like to toy with that aspect, Freddy, just to fuck with people. Like when he did the "You're my boyfriend now, Nancy," and he sticks his tongue out on the phone. Little things like that, like mind games.
I agree. And I think, you know what, it kind of goes in, you know, not to jump to another movie series, but remember in the Rob Zombie remake of a Halloween, where they were talking about, the psychiatrist talking about how, you know, serial killers like to torment small animals. Right. I think Freddy had that same mentality with kids. They were like small animals that were helpless and defenseless to him. Yes. And he took great joy in tormenting them.
And that's how my mind canon plays it. I take the pedophilia shit out.
Yeah. I agree, because if you put that in there, I cannot. I'm not going to watch the movie.
I'm not.
You know.
And that's and we're gonna get to it. That's some of my problem with 2010 remake, but we'll get there.
And he's actually credited as Fred Krueger, not Freddy.
Right.
He wouldn't be credited as Freddy till I want to say Nightmare 3, because I believe even in 2 they called him Fred Krueger.
So in like the credits,
just I believe in the script when they were discussing who he is.
But the song has always been 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
Well, that's
3,
because little kids
4.
would use Freddy like it's a playful term of endearment, but as the adults would refer to him as Fred Krueger. And Fred Krueger was actually based on a childhood associate of Wes Craven who would bully him.
Right.
And then again, he was a combination of 3 things: a childhood friend that would bully him, an alcoholic
bum that was walking the streets.
Yeah, that was dressed similar.
Had the hat, and then he had the trench coat, which they had in New Nightmare. Okay.
And I believe Wes told a story where he would see this guy as a kid. He looked up straight at Wes, and it scared the shit out of him.
And then when he went back, the guy was still there.
Yes.
And you could see that he took pleasure in scaring young Wes Craven.
Absolutely.
Which, a la Freddy Krueger.
And Krueger, this isn't the first appearance of Krueger. He used that same name for Last House on the Left.
Really?
His first movie, Krug was for Krueger.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of where the lineage comes from.
All right.
So he he used it a couple times.
Well, he also used the scene where Freddy's glove comes out of the water, and they used that in the deadly what is it?
Deadly Blessings.
Deadly Blessings, yes, with the snake.
Oh,
the same
that's
exact
right.
Scene.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then for his iconic glove, that was actually Wes Craven's idea. He came up with the idea to have a unique killing weapon.
Right, because when the machete was done 1,000,000 times.
And the kitchen knife with Michael Myers.
Yeah, the chainsaw, of course. You know what I mean? So this was, it was brilliant. The fact that he put that glove, dude, it just sent it to another atmosphere.
I agree. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And to kind of just go into a few things real quick.
You remember when you first watched it?
God, sometime in the mid-'80s, to be honest with you.
So it wasn't like 85?
No, it might be. It was somewhere between. I saw Nightmare on Elm Street 2 first before I saw Nightmare on Elm Street 1. In fact, I want to say I probably saw Nightmare 1 after Nightmare 3.
Oh.
But when rewatching the movie recently, I loved the directorial style, the way he shot it with. It was somewhere between the polishedness of Deadly Blessings and the more exploitation roughness of Hills Have Eyes and Last House on the Left. And I think it worked so well in 1984. Like, there are some shortcomings. Like, I felt the acting wasn't there where I wanted it to be, but that's just a personal preference. That's just my preference. I'm not speaking for Wes or anyone else on that one. But I did like the scenes with the teenagers in there, though.
Right. Johnny Depp was instantly, you could tell.
He's likable. He was likable. But it's funny. It wasn't, we say Johnny Depp, don't go expecting like Pirates of the Caribbean. This is really his first movie role, but he played a good guy in this one.
Yeah. They wanted him to be more of a jock, but he wasn't.
He wasn't more like just a regular dude. But you know what though? The nightmare aspect was so dope. Like he played like a ghoul that would chase you in your dreams, and that's what Wes captured so well.
You talking about
Wes Craven in terms of how he directed the movie getting Freddy.
I was just talking about Johnny Depp was more like
my bad.
Like the boy next door.
Yeah, which he did a great job on. Yeah. But in terms of just the actual horror aspects of it, I liked how Wes captured on film being chased in your dreams would be like if you were to shoot it on film. And I thought Freddy did a really good job on that. So kudos, great movie. There's nothing more I can really say about it.
What about you, Santana? When did you first see Nightmare of 84?
I don't remember exactly when I saw it, but I do remember real quick about the name drop. Lynn Shay, Bob Shay's sister,
Yeah,
right?
she's the
teacher.
Yeah.
Something About Mary.
Yes.
Kingpin. Anyways, I met her and talked to her at in LA once it was at like a little get together. I went with somebody that was doing some short films around. And anyway, long story short, she was real chill. Real cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, she sat and talked for a little bit.
Was she in part 5 or was it part 6 that she was in as well?
I think she might have been.
Oh, no, she's in New Nightmare.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, 1985. That was directed by Jack Shoulder. What do you guys got?
So that one is the one for a while, the one that I watched the most because it was on
HBO,
Showtime, and I remember it like being in the theater. And I didn't watch it in the theater, but I remember it.
The trailers.
The trailers, but I also remember it being on HBO like right away.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And so anyway, no, seriously. So because I watched it so much, I didn't hate it. I did like it because it was all we had.
Yep.
And so my positives on this one was how scary Freddy looked.
Yeah.
I thought he looked the best in this one. I loved how filthy and just gooey Freddy's makeup was.
Before you go any further, to touch on that. So the reason for that was the guy who did the makeup on Nightmare 1, for one reason or another, he didn't do 2.
Right.
And they don't know if it was just them not wanting to pay him more. He had another job. I read about it, but I forgot. Right. But another makeup artist came in and he had to figure out how to replicate what was done because he really liked the makeup effects in 1. And he actually made some quality of life improvements too. By giving him some cheekbones and a few things that goes to what you're saying, that it just came out a little bit more menacing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh yeah. And then like some of the lines, you have the body and I have the brain.
Robert Shea, the president of New Line Cinema, he came up with that line.
Oh, that's a great line. Robert Shea has a cameo in there. So, so this one is a little bit more infamous because of like some gay overtones, and then Mark Patton, who I think is a great actor.
Yeah.
And there's an amazing documentary called Scream Queen, and so this one is not one of my favorites. It doesn't, to me, it always felt like a Freddy's Nightmare episode because it breaks a lot of the rules of the continuity. Like when Nancy brings out Freddy, he's supposed to be human. He's his godlike power that he has in the dreams, all the demon strength that he has in the dreams is supposed to be stripped away, and then that's when you could get him. You know what I'm saying? They use the same ideology in Freddy versus Jason that they used in A Nightmare on Elm Street 1. So when he comes out of what's the kid's name in this one?
No, I believe his name was Quentin.
No, that's not the main guy's name.
Oh, sorry about that. My bad. No, Jesse.
So when they come out of Jesse's body, right? And he has powers and he's able to burn through things and he's boiling the water and boiling the hot dogs and making the Coke thing. That just shits on everything Part 1 did. And it shits on the whole power of taking him out of the dreams to whip his ass while he's vulnerable. So to me, that's just dog shit. So I never liked that. And, you know what I'm saying? And so that's one of my negatives from that one. Then, so, and I'm gonna let you talk before I really put the axe and kill this one. But I think Mark Patton, great. The one that looks like Meryl Streep, I think she was great.
She was awesome.
The dad,
she's hot.
Stole the movie to me. His
Glue Gallagher, I believe is his name.
So the Meryl Streep girl's Kim Myers, right?
Yes, she's beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's great.
And the father was Glue Gallagher from
he's
Return of the Living Dead.
And not only did he steal the scene in A Nightmare 2, Freddy's Revenge, he stole the scene in Night of the Living Dead, Return of the Living Dead.
Yes.
And then he steals the Never Sleep Again documentary. He's just
hilarious. Like with the blowjobs.
Yeah, he's hilarious in that. So I just don't like this one. I didn't know nothing about at 9 years old, 10 years old, 11 years old. I didn't know anything about gay overtones. I thought it was just wacky 80ness, like the whole scene with the dance and him dancing. That was like Tom Cruise in the underwear. It was like a lot of 80s movies were zany in terms of like the guys dancing around and shit like that. So I didn't see that. And then I didn't know what S&M was and all that stuff. I had no clue. It was just, is Freddy scary? Yes. Is Jesse gonna live? That's all I gave a shit about. You know what I mean? So all that stuff didn't mean anything. I didn't even realize put them together until I saw Never Sleep Again documentary. And I was like, wait a minute. Okay. I got it, because I was a kid. That wasn't in my zeitgeist. That wasn't in my mind at all at that time. So I never, that never came to me. I never thought about that.
And that came before the Crispin Glover dance in Friday. Was that a shout out? Or was
no, that was after the Crispin Glover dance.
Was that a shout out, you think?
No, it was more of a
80s thing. It was just an 80s
No, it was inspired by Risky Business.
Okay.
And he didn't really want to do that. But I mean, building on what Spawn was talking about, when I first saw it too, I was way too young to see, any of the overtones that they were speaking about. And, even, seeing the interviews and knowing the background, I still don't see it, but that's because I'm not from the LGBTQ plus community.
Right.
I do believe, however, that's what makes this movie so great, that it works on two different fronts for two different communities. And I think that's great.
Have you seen the documentary, the screen yet?
No, not yet. I've been meaning to, but I haven't seen it yet.
Incredible. Yeah.
Excellent.
But I would say I never thought Jesse was gay at all. To me, I saw someone who was in distress.
Right.
When they're talking about when he went over to Grady's house.
Right.
He went over to that's his homeboy's house. That's his friend. Like,
yes.
I
didn't see that. He was like, yo, by the way.
Yeah. And they're like, well, he was in his tidy white. He said, well, I'm sorry, dude. We're teenagers. Sometimes when you're hot,
that's all we had. The boxers weren't really,
Yeah. Again, they shared, they played sports together. They were obviously in the locker room. So I didn't see any overtones that way for me. But again, I'm part of the LGBTQ plus community. So obviously it would go over my head. But for those in the community, there were cool things in there that they saw and they were like, that's cool. We're getting a shout out. So it worked on two different fronts. Right. A few things about the movie. Let's see here. It made $30 million on a $3 million budget. So it got a little bit of an increase, but it didn't do as much as Nightmare 1. But it did save New Line Cinema from having to file bankruptcy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Again, the house that Freddie built, New Line Cinema.
Absolutely. That tagline holds true.
Yeah.
It does take place 5 years after the original movie, and they do make a reference to Nancy. They just said, there was a comment saying, yeah, the girl who lived in your house before you
but
went
then
crazy.
He found her diary.
Yes, he found her diary as well,
Nancy
too.
and da-da-da.
Yep. And then there was a few other things as well, too. Did you know that they weren't going to bring back Robert Englund?
Oh, yeah. No.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't want to pay him, and they didn't want to give him a pay raise.
You can see the scene where they have the different actor.
It was a stuntman.
The stuntman, where it's the scene in the shower, and you see Freddie all walking all weird. And it's like, why is Freddie walking that way?
See, I never noticed that.
Yeah, so it's like Freddie walking all weird towards the coach, like the scene where in the shower where they're whipping the coach's ass.
Yeah,
and it's not Robert Englund.
Well, let me ask you then: was it kind of like a Predator 1987 thing where they looked at what they had?
Yes,
daily,
absolutely.
Like,
it was after the first 2 weeks they brought Robert Englund in, and they gave him his pay raise.
Yeah, they gave him what he deserved.
When you talking about that scene though, how he wasn't walking right.
Yeah.
We're going to go a little bit more to right now. I just thought that was Jesse fighting the possession of Freddy Krueger because it was a duality going on, a battle, a struggle. Right. So to me, it felt like even when it was Freddy, Jesse was still in there fighting it. So you could mind
canon that, but to your point, that was the stuntman.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Not getting
the part
Freddy
right.
Krueger, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. He wasn't even the same height.
No.
And going on a few other things here too. For most of the sequels, they actually threw the bone out to Wes Craven first, letting him have first dibs. He didn't want to do it. And he did comment on it. If you see this great documentary called Never Sleep Again, it's an amazing documentary in the series. Wes Craven, you spoke on it right now. It felt like they took too many liberties and broke too many rules when it came to Freddy Krueger.
Right.
That being said, he did like the direction. He did like how the director shot it. He goes, it was well directed.
It's a good shot movie. I have no problem with the shooting. And again, Mark Patton was a good actor, and so was my guy from Weird Science.
Robert
Downey Jr.'s buddy.
So he went to audition for Nightmare 2. Mm-hmm. Robert Downey Jr. drove him there because it was the last day of shooting for Weird Science.
Yeah.
Little fun tidbit there.
Yeah.
And as for the director, Jack Shoulder, he directed a minor classic in 1982 called Alone in the Dark. He also directed The Hidden from 1988. Mm-hmm. Or 87 in Wishmaster 2.
Oh, okay.
Those are some of his more well-known movies.
Right. So he comes off kind of like a dick in the documentary, Never Sleep Again documentary.
I heard that. You were telling me that.
Yeah. And then at the end, him and Mark made amends, and it was kind of, spoiler, but I mean.
No, that's cool though.
But yeah, that's a touching documentary. So well done. I felt bad for Mark Patton because he went away after Nightmare was kind of like Nightmare was, it was a success, but he kind of got like the brunt of it for something, and he went away, and he was with his lover in Mexico or something like that. So when he came back, and he was kind of like off the grid. So when he got back on the grid, and he started like looking up Nightmare on Elm Street 2, it was just like everyone trolling him. And this was like the early days of non-PC internet. You think the trolling day is brutal today? Look at 99.
Oh, 2000,
early YouTube. You know what I mean? Like they just crucified him. Like and it doesn't seem harmless. I mean, it seems a little harmless on the Never Sleep Again documentary.
Yeah, of course.
But the writer of it makes it seem like Mark's performance was what made the movie, gave it gay overtones.
I never felt that way, though.
Neither did I.
I just saw a young man in distress. Like, here's the thing. Jesse had personality, but we see most of the movie, he's dealing with some heavy shit.
Right.
And
he's a new kid in school. He just moved here.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And like, you know, I mean, it's just a lot of things, dude.
You know what I thought this movie excelled at? Was the teen drama. I loved the high school scenes with the kids. They felt real. The acting here was so much better than one. To me, the characters, for me, the characters were compelling. Like, I enjoyed their story. I liked her name was Lisa in the story, right?
Yes.
I liked Lisa. Grady was cool. He was in it a lot.
Yeah.
And he was like, you know, your average, you know, he was relatable. You know what I mean? And you know what was cool?
You knew Grady's. You knew there was Grady's.
Absolutely. And you know what made it more real was when Grady panicked and was screaming for his dad to help him.
Yeah, that was dope.
That was I felt the fear. You know what I mean? That was just they nailed it. As for the horror scenes in this one, I love the opening scene. It felt so real. It felt so heavy metal. Like,
you talking about when he's on the bike? I mean, not the bike, driving the bus.
Yes, it reminded me of like something you would see in a heavy metal album cover,
like a Dio, like a Rodney James
Dio,
Dio,
or Iron Maiden, or even like I remember when I had the Quiet Riot's album Metal Health. On the LP itself, there was in the middle of the record, there's a dude running, and it looks to be blue skies and clouds, and there's a big old hole in his chest, and he's just running. Very surreal, and I thought the bus scene was so surreal.
The bus scene is incredible.
Like, just the way it was shot. And for horror movies in those times, they didn't really, to me, those were elaborate special effects that you could not get in Halloween, Friday, or any other
Texas
horror,
Chain,
you know,
none of them.
with the exception to maybe like a werewolf movie or a vampire movie. You never really saw something on that scale. Right. And I still think it holds up well. It was well shot. And then as for the violence, it was almost as bloody as the first one, if not bloodier.
I mean, so it shouldn't have been, because he's not supposed to have powers outside of the fucking dream world. So that's why it just kills it for me. You know what I'm saying? But one thing that it does have is the coldest closing of the franchise to me. Is where she's like, it's all over. She's telling Jesse on the bus, and you see Freddy's hand go right through her.
Oh, yeah.
That scene is so fucking dope, so cold, just blah. I like that. I hate the way Lisa beats Freddy. She beats him with love.
That's what's dope, though.
No, it's not dope.
Actually, I think that's great.
I love you, Jesse, and I love you too. And then Freddy just like this, disintegrates. That is the worst way.
But that was always a turn of circle.
Freddy, my dude.
Love kills evil, and here's the thing. And I hear you.
That's whack, though.
I hear what you're saying about the powers, but I've always thought, even with the first movie, Freddy's a demon because you always have religious. I guess the religious scenery, right? Something in this scenes, there's always a religious aspect to these scenes, right? And I always felt like Freddy was a demon, right? And so for me, because I see him as a demon. When I see him do what he did in 2, that would make sense to me. If you see movies like Amityville 2, The Possession, or Exorcist, where this demon would be causing things to happen, right? Fine. I thought that shit was dope.
He's a dream demon, yes. But the minute he gets into the real world, based on what they established in '84, he's supposed to be human and like us.
Is it possible, though? And again, we talked about this earlier. To me, I see Freddy Krueger as kind of like what you would see as Skeletor from He-Man, Cobra Commander from G.I. Joe, or Megatron from the Transformers. Each time they fail, they always come back with a new scheme to do something.
And that's why him getting out of Jesse was a thing, but he wasn't. But how would he be powerful? How would him getting out of the dream world? Fine, you want to get out, you want to be part of the real life. But how did he get powers?
He's that evil where he decided to do what a regular demon would do.
You're reaching.
Maybe, but I thought it.
And then the power of love thing. That's another.
I thought that was dope.
I love you, Jesse.
Well, here's the thing,
and I love you, and then Freddy starts disintegrating, and the dogs with the baby fases.
That was dope. How would you? That was so metal. That is so metal. No, I disagree with you. That was very surreal.
Especially the execution of it was doo-doo. The concept.
No, actually, the execution was amazing.
And then a big rat eating a little rat.
That was fucking dope. Folks, you guys be the judge on it. Yeah, check it out.
Dog shit.
And again, what Spawn is saying, what I'm saying, that we're both we're validating it in us because it's all subjective. But check it out. Tell us what you think about it. But like I said, it's worth checking out. And again,
check out the documentary. Definitely check out that Scream Queen documentary, and watch it after Never Sleep Again.
Yep. And you know what?
Because what I would do, what I would do when I had Shudder, so I would, when it was on Shudder, excuse me,
Shout out Shudder.
shout out Shudder. I would watch Never Sleep Again, pause it, and then go after they talk about Nightmare on Elm Street 2,
Yeah.
and then go right into Scream
That
Queen.
would be a great way to see that.
And then it's the nice, and then go back to 3 and blah blah blah. That's just that's my mind canon and how my shit works. But it's a great documentary. But now.
Wait, before we go,
okay.
Before we go into 3, though, because we're gonna jump into it right now.
Okay.
I will say this about 2: none of the sequels that came after ever contradicted the events of 2. So
They don't even mention him though. They don't even mention him. It's like, I'm telling you, it felt like a Freddy's Nightmare show.
Well,
like
and I'll tell you why.
on Freddy's Nightmare.
Well, because they jump ahead a little bit. Because remember, our segue into 3 now. When we get to 3, and this is where we're gonna start with 3 now. He's about the last remaining Elm Street kids. So maybe Jesse didn't make it. Maybe he did die. It's a year later, and there's only a few kids left. Mm-hmm. Whatever happened between 2 and 3, Freddy wiped most of them out. We knew Freddy didn't die. We knew he wasn't defeated.
Right.
We don't know. And again, too, you mentioned the coldest kill was the ending, right?
Yes.
Freddy didn't die. He came back, and maybe he took care of business. Mm-hmm. And now there's only, 5 or 6 kids left, depending. How many kids? Let's see. How many Dream Warriors?
You got
1, 2, 3, 4,
my man
5,
Kincaid.
6. There's 6.
Yep.
There were 6 kids left who were institutionalized. Mm-hmm. Now we're jumping into 3.
Dream Warriors, not gonna dream no more. We're the Dream Warriors, 'cause maybe tonight you'll be gone.
And this is where we're gonna start with 3 now. He's about the last remaining Elm Street kids. So maybe Jesse didn't make it. Maybe he did die. It's a year later, and there's only a few kids left. Mm-hmm. Whatever happened between 2 and 3, Freddy wiped most of them out. We knew Freddy didn't die. We knew he wasn't defeated.
Right.
We don't know. And again, too, you mentioned the coldest kill was the ending, right?
Yes.
Freddy didn't die. He came back, and maybe he took care of business. Mm-hmm. And now there's only, 5 or 6 kids left, depending. How many kids? Let's see. How many Dream Warriors?
You got
1, 2, 3, 4,
my man
5,
Kincaid.
6. There's 6.
Yep.
There were 6 kids left who were institutionalized. Mm-hmm. Now we're jumping into 3.
Directed by Chuck Russell. This is Dream Warriors, right?
This is my favorite one of the whole franchise.
Give us a little Dream Warriors drop.
Dream Warriors, not gonna dream no more. I got the shirt. I was gonna wear red Reeboks, but they didn't come in time. Shout out to my boy Corey. But I'll get the red Reeboks for Corey when he what is it called, cosplays as Kincaid.
We need to get him to do it.
Yes, we gotta get the votes in. We gotta get him to.
Everyone who wants to see Corey dressed up as Kincaid, please type in. Let the homie know we got his back on this one.
So this one is my favorite of the franchise. I think it had the formula down pat, the perfect formula. Freddy's comedy, the horror, the grand scale of the kills, the excellent kills, getting each personality of each Dream Warrior down pat. Freddy killed the guy who makes puppets via being a puppet. The girl who wanted to be on TV through the TV. The Wizard Master, the heroin junkie. And I think it was just the perfect storm. And there was just so much meat on the bone of the Dream Warriors. I know Freddy exploded after 87, and it was the Freddy mania, and Freddy was everywhere. But I think they could have done something with the Dream Warriors too. I love the Dream Warriors.
Well, going back to the actress that played the drug addict, she did another movie called Bad Dreams, which is derivative of the Nightmare formula. Right. So she did do some other things with it. And I believe she went on to have some other fairly decent films after that.
Yeah. And then wasn't the Wizard Master also in Zap 2?
I'll be honest with you, I don't know. I've never seen Zap 2. I'm only a fan of Zap 1. Yeah. Such a fucking great movie, folks.
Zap 1 is beautiful. But yeah, so I met most of all the Dream Warriors, except for Kincaid, which is on still my bucket list.
Why is that?
He's just my boy. He was just funny.
No. Was he not there at the convention?
So at that particular time was Frank and Sons right there, City of Industry.
Okay.
And it was Joey.
Joey was there.
Yeah, Joey was there.
That would have been dope to me.
The Wizard.
I saw the picture you sent me on that one. That was cool.
Big break on TV, primetime bitch. And then I'm drawing a senior.
The girl with the drug addict.
The drug addict.
You went like
I
this?
do the like I'm putting the needles in her arm. So they were there, and then Nancy was supposed to be there, but it was around the time with the fires back in 2018.
Okay.
It was a LA fire thing that she was supposed to be there, and so she couldn't make it, obviously. But man, it was dope to see them all together. I wish I would have got to meet Kincaid. But yeah, no, the acting I thought was excellent in this one.
Absolutely.
Lawrence Fishburne's in it.
Yeah, it was dope to see.
Yeah, young Lawrence Fishburne. I just love all the characters in this one. I mean, Kincaid is my boy. I said it again.
They made this fun.
They made this one fun. It was a good formula. Of course, I'm missing the key ingredient. Patricia Arquette.
Absolutely. And you know,
that was her first movie.
She made her movie debut. Yes, another first for the Nightmare where they broke off two big movie stars.
Yeah, A-listers.
Yes.
Yeah, they broke off Patricia and Johnny Depp. I think this one is just, I talked about it so much. I love the Dokken song. I've seen Dokken live. But yeah, this is just my favorite of the franchise. It has the perfect formula of funny and scary, creative kills, and then
very imaginative movie.
Yeah, very much so.
Interesting fact: Chuck Russell, he also directed the Blob remake from 1988,
which is one of my favorites, bro.
Right, so underrated too. Yeah. Like I don't think enough people give that movie credit.
Watch the Blob 1988. One of the best remakes.
So amazing. Yeah. You know what's funny? He also directed Jim Carrey in The Mask.
Oh, I didn't know.
1994. I didn't know that either until I started doing my research.
Shout out The Mask.
Yeah, I love
this
The Mask.
guy worked again, a horror director working with Jim Carrey. Mm-hmm. Then he went on to do a movie called Eraser with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh yeah, that's
1986.
Oh, you've been erased.
That's a great movie though. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not saying it's his best movie, but it's pretty fucking good though. Yeah. He also did another one.
Is that the one with Vanessa Williams?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Now that I remember, you're right.
And Sonny, right, from Godfather.
It's been a minute since I've seen it, but didn't I thought Sonny had passed? So didn't Sonny?
No. You're thinking about
Fredo.
Passed. James Caan.
Yes, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's in it.
And then he also directed The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, in The Scorpion King in 2002.
Dog shit.
And again, these are just some highlights of his career. The movie now grossed $44.8 million on a $4.5 million budget. So again, it went up only $1.5 million from the year prior. The original script was written by Wes Craven and someone by the name of Bruce Wagner. But when they submitted the script, it was estimated by the studio it would cost them $20 million to produce, which is more than what they were willing to do. They brought in Chuck Russell and a very young Frank Darabont, the guy who did the Walking Dead TV show. Mm-hmm. He did a few great movies himself too. So they brought them in, and they were able to whittle the budget down to $4.5 million by taking what Wes did. But by the time Wes saw the movie, he saw a lot of what he did was gone. So Wes, even though he got story credits, feels it's not really his movie or what he wrote.
They're being generous with that.
Yes. Yeah. But I mean, again, he still got story credit though. Right. And it takes place 6 years after the original and a year after 2.
So that's weird because, so 6 years after the original.
Yes.
And then 2 is 5 years after. Okay. All right.
So it lines up.
Okay.
And I think, good job on New Line for if you're seeing what their competition was doing and making sure they at least had some sort of continuity in place.
Well, I mean, when I do if I'm just going to do a marathon of Nightmare, I skip 2.
You shouldn't.
Because it works out better when you go 1 to 3. When you go 1 to 3, it's way better because 2 kind of stops it in its tracks. You know what I'm saying? And then you go 1, 3, it's just a smoother. You go 1, 3, 4, 5. It's just
so you forget about
seamless.
2 altogether.
Yeah, it's seamless. Again, 2 feels like it belongs in Freddy's Nightmares, the show. But if you watch 1, 3, 4, 5, is seamless the way they go into each other.
And see, I'm the opposite. I feel 2 does have significance to it, but again, to each their own.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's go.
Go ahead about the. So what did you see? Dream Warriors.
Probably one of my buddy's house. I might have been. I don't know.
So you didn't see it in the theater?
No, not okay. No. You kidding? My parents take me to see a movie like that.
So my stepdad's best friend Bruce, my parents were doing some Navy thing. So I was hanging with Bruce, and we saw Nightmare on Elm Street 3, and then we saw Lethal Weapon.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then we still had like a couple hours to go. I said, "Can we see Nightmare on Elm Street 3 again?" And we saw Nightmare on Elm Street 3 twice in the same day, bro. And it's a lot of it's the memory of
that day,
yeah, and just being free and just walking all over Manhattan. It was just a dope memory. And then so I have a best buddy of mine that I didn't connect with for a long time, and he was friends with me in '87. That '86, the whole rise of Freddy and my infatuation. First thing he asked, "You still love Dream Warriors?" I'm like synonymous with Dream Warriors. Dream Warriors.
But no, the first thing I seen, I think it was on VHS at a buddy's house, and I was just blown away because I never really seen with an exception to Nightmare 2, a horror movie with so much fantasy-like special effects, and it was. Looking at it now, when I just rewatched it recently, getting ready for the show, it's almost like watching a comic book movie because
that's what I'm saying.
Everybody had a
lot
special
of meat
power
on the table with the Dream Warriors.
Yeah, everyone had a special ability going against Freddy Krueger, and that's why we compare Freddy Krueger to, let's say, a Cobra Commander, Skeletor, Megatron, because this was
'80s villain.
Yes, a great '80s villain, and you had all these guys with special abilities going after him, and him just going with it, and it almost feels like.
Like the Harry Potter. I mean, Harry Potter owes the look, everything to the fucking wizard master from.
I can help but to think the same thing a little bit.
Dude,
just a
look
little
at
bit.
his look. The glasses looks just like it, and the wizardry.
I know. I'm not gonna lie. That did cross my mind.
Harry Potter, bro. Fucking, he owes him a paycheck.
It just sucks that he got murked out. It's like, I thought you were a wizard. How do you get fucked up so quick?
Because he got too close to Freddy.
I don't know. I'm just thinking
he was hitting Freddy with all the blazes, blah 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 blah, and then he got a little cocky with it, and then boom, he got.
Homeboy should have been more Doctor Strange than Harry Potter then, because clearly he got his ass served to him. But I love
Joey with his power of the voice. I mean, that was dope.
You know what's crazy? Going back to Joey, that was every Nightmare movie had a scene that reminded me of a heavy metal album cover. To me, for 3 was. Joey crucified on the bed with
What's
the
tongue.
What's the matter,
Joey? Feeling tongue-tied?
With the naked chick looking at her with that evil look in her, and he's like on the bed and hell's at the bottom of him waiting for him.
They were going to make Freddy's face the part of the girl, but they thought it'd be too weird.
They tried doing it and it didn't look right.
She was crazy, that chick. What's her?
Really?
No, I'm not crazy mentally, just fine as hell.
Oh boy, yeah.
Who's the one that played the nurse Santana on Dream Warriors Nightmare on Elm Street 3? The nurse. She was a killer, bro. She killed.
And that was probably the one and only time there was nudity in the movie in the franchise. In a franchise,
yeah.
And damn, she was hot.
Yeah, she was a killer, bro.
That was like 80s, just
87.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Stacey Alden.
Oh yeah, Stacey Alden. But the mom, Brooke Bundy, in 2 movies, she's andale. In 2 movies, she's awesome. And
she
Brooke
captures the 80s mom stereotype perfectly.
Yeah. And not only that, she steals the movie too when Freddy chops her head off. And God damn it, it
was so relatable to be yelled at.
Yeah. But she looked amazing when she was young too.
Oh
she
yeah,
was
absolutely.
Gorgeous.
Another thing I want to touch on, I liked how every Dream Warrior had their own dream and own flavor, and it was just. It was kind of like, if you watch Twilight Zone and you had Rob Steiger just kind of just narrating it, that would be like
the Avengers
Freddy.
have their own powers.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And it was like their own little world, but Freddy was there.
The strength.
But Freddy was still there to manipulate it, and it took them to work as a team to defeat him.
Yeah. Patricia Arquette was great in it.
She was.
And then Heather Langenkamp's acting, because you said wasn't crazy about it, but it jumped up.
And she was charming. I just felt like the range wasn't there for me, but
in '84.
In '84, I liked her. But I felt like she was stronger. Her performance was stronger in Nightmare 3, definitely.
Yeah, okay. And then I also liked the Doctor.
Doctor was awesome. He's been in a few movies. Ghost Story from 1981.
He played a doctor in another movie too, right? Wasn't he?
I'm not too sure, but I know he was in Brian De Palma's
Body
Double.
Yeah.
Which he was great in that as well too.
Great movie. The head nurse. I think she's also in Carrie, if my memory.
She looks familiar, but I couldn't place the name where I seen her at.
If you could look at the head nurse of,
she was a real asshole though.
Yeah, she was great though.
Oh, she was absolutely she was great, but
she did her job. Yeah, she had the Nurse Ratched thing down.
Absolutely, she looked familiar, but I couldn't place her.
I think she's in Carrie. I want to say she's in Carrie, the original '76 Carrie.
I'm reflecting right now. I can't remember seeing her in Carrie.
Maybe,
but I know she seemed somewhere that we've seen her before too though.
Yeah. So. My only thing is I wish, and we'll get to part 4, I wish Patricia Arquette would have just came back. You know what I'm saying?
So there was a lot of discussion. They didn't know why she didn't come back.
She wasn't happy with the production, right?
No, not at all. She had a good time. And funny you mentioned the production. We'll get to that in a second. Mm-hmm. She had a good time with it. It's just that she liked horror. She wouldn't mind going back. But at the time, after Nightmare 3, she started getting bigger roles. And so she said at the time, she just wanted something meatier. Had nothing against...
Right. She wanted to ride the momentum that she had.
Yes. Okay. But as for the production, yes, this was a very stressful production.
Right.
Not a lot of people were happy on it. On the Never Sleep Again documentary, the actor who played Kincaid spoke upon it. A lot of the actors said he was...
Oh, the director was a dick, right? Was he?
They didn't say he was a dick. He just didn't know how to talk to people. This is really his first big movie, and you could tell it was just very stressful. Mm-hmm. And, he didn't know how to, I guess, talk to them.
Yeah.
At least in their eyes, you know what I mean?
KRUEGER, pussy, you a pussy, KRUEGER. Yep. So yeah, but
as much as they griped about the production, you cannot deny the end product was stellar.
Oh yes,
like he nailed the landing.
The Freddy worm scene was amazing.
That was dude. That you know how they filmed that too? In reverse.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's how they were able to pull off. And he goes, and he talked about. He goes, what's cool about doing it in reverse? It gives it a more surreal aspect.
Right.
The way they had to shoot it. It didn't look normal.
One of my favorite scenes is that where he sees Nancy, goes, "You."
Right?
Yeah, and it's the worm face and everything. So ill, bro. I love Dream Warriors is my number one. So
they did that in Freddy vs. Jason, you with the worm too, right? They had the worm. They also had.
That's the tequila worm, right? Wasn't it tequila?
I thought it was a caterpillar based on
caterpillar.
Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
Then he does say the "you" to the girl in Freddy vs. Jason when he hops out of the water in that dream sequence. So
he was pissed at her because she disrupted him from killing Jason. And he looked at her and he's like, "You," he was blaming her, like you motherfucker.
Freddy,
he's like, "You mother." It was more of a "you motherfucker."
You motherfucker. Okay, cool. We're gonna move on.
Yeah, we're gonna move on.
Okay, we're gonna go to A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, directed by Rennie Harlan. Shout out Rennie for Cliffhanger, Die Hard 2.
Yes.
Cutthroat Island.
Yep.
He's got
the Long Kiss. He also did The Long Kiss Goodnight,
yes,
which is dope.
Gina Davis,
and he actually completed a trilogy of movies called Strangers, chapters 1, 2, and 3 that are being released in 2024.
They're getting shit on too.
2025 and upcoming in sometime in 2026.
And they're dog shit.
Really, I haven't seen
dog
any
shit
of them.
meter. Dog shit meter.
Straight dog shit.
Really,
I didn't like. So part 1 was just okay. 2 was a little bit better. Strangers chapter 2 was a little bit better than Strangers chapter 1, but Strangers 1 just should have been left alone. It's just perfect movie. We don't need to make them slashers. There was something else.
Pray at Night was dope.
Pray at Night was cool, but then at the end he becomes Jason Voorhees, where he's on fire and he still jumps on the back of the thing,
you're right. Let's get back.
I digress.
Well, regardless, Rennie still gave us a classic with Nightmare 4.
Yes, Nightmare 4
Die Hard 2 and Cliffhanger. So you know what? Good job on that.
Dude,
Cliffhanger's the shit. Die Hard 2 is cool. You know
interesting facts on this one though.
All right.
So this one grossed $49.4 million on a $6.5 million budget. So
this was at the apex of the Freddy.
This was known as the MTV Nightmare.
Right. This is Freddy versus the Fat Boys era. This is Freddy versus Will Smith. DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince era.
It was
Freddy had his own album at this time.
Absolutely. You're right. You're right on that. And interesting fact too on this. In 1988, the big three had all number 1 releases.
Yep.
Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, hit number 1. Friday the 13th, The New Blood, number 1. And Nightmare 4, Dream Master, all hit number 1. And I remember, and I believe the homeboy Corey spoke on this. When this came out, this was like the next biggest thing in 1988. August 4th of 1988 was Nightmare on Elm Street, The Dream Master. Yep. I remember seeing the posters everywhere, radio advertisements, the newspapers, the big old out there.
It was everywhere.
This was an event. This was an event.
Because off the back of Dream Warriors.
It was hot.
Dream Warriors was so hot, so good, that it could do no wrong.
And I think Rennie was a perfect director for this.
100%.
Here's the thing. What he had to deal with, though. He had 8 weeks of shooting, but there's a writer strike going on. So because of that, Rennie would develop a lot of the scenes. He did a rewrite himself. Ultimately, the final rewrite went to 2 other writers on there on this movie. But Rennie Harlan did a lot. Was heavily involved in this film and got it going. In fact, he kept trying to get this movie. He kept going to the offices of New Line Cinema. So they finally, after him always coming around and begging him, I don't say begging, but making his presence known.
Right.
They gave him the shot, and he delivered.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
And think about it, with the writer strike and a director trying to figure out how to make this work and still meet the schedule deadline, he pulled it off. And I think because he was allowed to do that, we got a very, very imaginative, fun movie.
Very vivid.
But on a side note, though, I did read from what I read. At time, the original cut was a little campy, so they had to cut back a little bit on that.
Really?
But that's just more of a side note.
It was a little campier than Dream Warriors.
True, but they had to cut back some more. And I think what's great about that is that when you do the right editing on things, you come out with a masterpiece. And again, the acting, while not as good as 3,
not as good as 3 or 2 or 1. It was very bad acting. But I mean, the actors are themselves, like on the documentary, very charming. I think they were just young at the time.
They were,
and I think that Remy was maybe more good at the special effects than he was directing.
I think he was more interested in doing the camera moves and camera angles. But he brought like they called it the MTV Nightmare. He brought a very stylistic angle to it, and it just. You go for the ride on this one. And I did think the kills are very imaginative. Like it felt like
the cockroach scene.
That was dope. And it's like you said, because the 3, it really opened up the imagination and possibilities what to build upon. Like I thought everything was great on this. Again, acting could have been better. And I wish Patricia, like the actors who played Joey and Kincaid,
they were fine.
They were fine, but they said they felt the scene when they reunited could have been stronger had Patricia been there because of their prior working experience. And said it's kind of hard to invoke certain feelings, and he goes, there was nothing against the actress who took her place.
Should they have written that character out?
No, I think, you know what, here's the thing. I don't think any actor really, well, I'll take that, but I can't even say that. I think, you know what, in service of the story, I'm glad they left the character in, and I will, the scene still worked for me. I didn't know there was any less chemistry there between the prior actors and the new actress. I didn't get that from there. I just knew it was a new interpretation of the character. But I'm okay with that, though. And I'm glad they left that in there because it made sense. Because without having that character in there, this series could not continue. Because, again, Freddy's like a plague. You have to remember him. Someone has to say his name to you for him to take effect. If you're not there to say anything about him, then you don't know who he is. You don't remember him. He has no power. Because, remember, they were the surviving 3.
Right.
Because of... I'm sorry, what was Patricia Arquette character from 3? What was her name?
Kirsten.
Because
Kristen.
Her character's ability to bring in other people's into her dreams is what caused Freddy to then infect other kids that lived in Springfield. Right. So Kirsten was the reason why Freddy was able to continue.
Kristen.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she was the reason why. Sadly, she defeated him. Was also the same reason why he came back and was able to spread again.
Right. And then so they brought in Alice, who I like the character. I think she's very underestimated as a final girl in this franchise.
Yes.
Because Nancy's so well renowned.
Yep.
And then Patricia Arquette.
Yeah.
But Alice beat him twice.
You're right.
Alice beat him twice. You know what I mean? So I mean, she deserves a little props. So she was like, I guess, a daydreamer, and so. And that was her superpower, and then Patricia gave her the ability to suck people into the dreams, but somehow it made her get their powers.
Alice's power was,
or their strengths.
No, Alice's power was to take the special powers from everybody that she came in contact to in her dream.
Right,
like her brother was
with the martial arts,
so she was able to take that power.
What did you think about that scene? The martial art fight scene with the brother?
I thought that was dope, and you know what's funny? The actor who played it. He trained for like about 6 weeks hardcore to try to at least look decent in it. And then when he realized no matter what he was doing technical, Rennie wasn't going to ask for anything technical. He just wanted him to take big swings. Right. And he goes, because I thought I was going to be fighting something. I wanted to be on a set by myself, having a fight by myself. Right. But how he described it and how it was shot and edited, you'll never know it was so bare bones.
Right. No, I thought that was a great scene. I was pissed, of course, when they killed Kincaid first, but I do love that
that is so middle when you see the whole planet full of cars.
Yeah, it's just that was an amazing scene. Joey, of course, being a fucking horn dog.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying? Like
that freaked me out.
That was the second. There was a second nudity. The chick in the waterbed. I thought that was a super creative.
That was hot. That was hot.
And the way that was, I don't know how they did it, and I don't know if they talk about it in.
I can only imagine that the set was built on top of a pool. The actor would go underneath there and then swim up there for a few seconds for breathing purposes, get the shot, and then go back under.
Yeah.
But I thought that scene with him underneath the waterbed drowned
Yeah.
was so metal-like. I thought that was so freaky.
Yeah,
and
so
it
dope. So dope.
pulled off so well.
Yeah, and of course it was like Freddie knows that's his weakness.
Yes,
chicks,
and it so again goes back to keeping they do a good job of keeping the continuity straight. And again, I'm glad you pointed that out to me. Second nudity was in Nightmare 4, and again it goes back to Joey and him being a horn dog.
Right, and it makes sense. And then I thought of course it wasn't Patricia, and it was kind of like anticlimactic the way they got her.
But it was crazy they still got her though.
Yeah, no, yeah, I know, and I dug that. So those are two off Freddy's list that got him. Nancy got killed in Dream Warriors, and then she got spoilers. Of course, I mean the movies are 45 years old.
If you haven't seen them yet, why the fuck are you watching us? In fact, no, it's a good thing you are watching us. Go back and go see the movie. Yeah. You'll thank us later. What do you think though about so? James Cameron was also on the same lot when they were filming it. I guess James Cameron was doing, he wasn't in the movie or anything, but he was working or doing something, right? And he bumped into Remy Harlan, and he was, said, hey, so you guys doing a new Nightmare? How are you bringing him back this time? Rennie tells him, Doc pisses fires on him, and Freddy comes back.
Yeah.
Robert Englund kind of really goes deeper into it. Says, he goes, to me, and it goes back to Freddy being a real demon.
Right.
Jason, which was and it was a cool little wink at the Friday franchise. Right. Kincaid's dog name was Jason. Yeah. He says, in my mind, Jason was a hellhound.
Hellhound.
Yes, hellhound. Hound. I'm having a moment here. But he worked.
You having a series of little strokes?
Yo, you motherfucker. But Jason went ahead and pissed fire to resurrect Freddy. Like that was part of Freddy's plan. And that was all done through Kincaid's dream. Yeah. So it goes back again to Freddy being like Cobra Commander. You defeated him at one scheme, but he'll come back with another scheme to come back. Wow. So I thought that was pretty dope when Robert Englund kind of broke it down that way. And I've always, even before reading that, whenever I watch this movie, I always kind of I've always took upon that.
I never liked the whole pissing fire thing, but I get it. But I just never dug it. But that's just me nitpicking.
And that's fair.
I have the franchise as such a high regard.
Yeah.
That especially after Dream Warriors to just piss and then he'd come back. I thought I never liked that. But as far as the new batch of characters, like when he sucks face with the girl, I thought that was a crazy kill.
She was hot, and I liked her person. She was very cool and bubbly, and it was sad to see her go, but I think she brought a lot of charm to that.
Right, very much so. And then the brother I liked.
He was dope. I really enjoyed that character. Yeah. Like he was. I thought he was going to be.
He was a good brother.
He was. I thought he would be like a typical obnoxious character, and he was far from that.
And then I like Alice. I mean, I thought, like I said, she's very underrated. Yeah, very underrated. Final girl for Freddy.
Now they said that they chose the name for her Alice as in Alice in Wonderland.
Yes. And I dug that. And then the workout chick that hated bugs. That to me, that's my standout kill in Dream Master is when. Especially at that time,
because you had the commercials for the cockroaches.
For the cockroaches, raid commercial. It was the Roach Motel.
Yep.
And you could check in, but you can't check out.
I just thought it was nasty. Each time he squeezed it, like that goo just came out. I was like, ah.
And then the scene, you could see where Tenet. They borrow that Tenet, Inception borrowed from it. A lot of movies that deal with psyche, where you're seeing the same scene over and over and over.
Oh, when she was coming back,
Dream Master did it first.
Yeah,
Dream Master did it first, and
she was coming back with
the car when she gets out of the thing, and I love that scene. Even at 12, I think I saw. Did I see it in '88? I didn't see it in the theater, but maybe 12, 13. To me, that was such a dope scene
because she's trying to get to him and she can't, and he just keeps her in a loop. And she realizes that we're in the loop still. And then she realizes oh shit, we can't get there, and Freddy's still getting down with it.
No, I dug that scene. To this day, that's one of my favorite scenes. I remember me and Mom, I watched it with my mom. We're like, that's a fucking cool scene. And it was like, wait a minute. At first, you thinking, did I press rewind or something with but it was just so dope the way that
it was smart. It was a smart scene.
It's a great movie. Dream Master. The thing with Dream Master is it's under the shadow of Warriors, but you got to give it its own light. It's that good.
Okay, let's go to A Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child, directed by Stephen Hopkins.
So that one is, I didn't see Dream Child until 2017. I'm talking it took me forever to watch this one. I just thought it looked so cheesy. I remember not being So what killed this one for me was a movie by the name of Halloween 4. And I liked Halloween 4 so much and the realism of Michael Myers that it took me out of my Freddy, and same thing with Jason. I was strictly at that time, you're getting older.
It's like when you hear a good music artist come back, have you heard from a fire, and he has like this fire single, and you're like, oh my God, you fall in love all over again.
So I was all about Michael Myers after Halloween 4. I know he has the horrible mask. I know that certain people don't like him.
But an icon from the early '80s came back.
Certain people don't like him on the roof. You know what I'm saying? I ain't pointing no fingers. Santana rocking a bandana. But wow. I just think it's
that roof scene totally fucking sucked. By the way, it's like did he shit himself? Did he not wipe his ass right?
He got burnt up. He's not moving around.
Hey,
he didn't die like Jason. I mean, like Michael Myers.
That's no excuse. If he was so burnt up, he would have never left the hospital in the first place.
He had shit to do. So
and I guess his burns didn't hurt him that much.
It did. That's why he's not Spider-Man, he's Michael Myers, for God's sakes. But anyway, so he so I kind of took me, I didn't even want to bother with Dream Child. And then when I saw the reviews, I was like, a good thing I didn't fuck with it. I was done. So when I finally watched it 2017, I was like, it's cool. And I just,
maybe you and I talked about it too. Because remember we were talking about going back to what
you you're the one who let me borrow it because I didn't have the box set.
Remember because we were talking about they were supposed to be like we were talking about at the time, to go off on a little tangent here. We're talking about in '89. It felt like the big three wanted to go harder, but the rating systems wouldn't do it. Like you could tell, like 3 wanted to, Nightmare 5 wanted to go harder, but it just couldn't, and that's how we went back to go look at it again.
Right. So this one I felt was plagued with the Dream Warriors. The thing that made Dream Warriors so dope and Dream Master so dope, where they would take the kids' interest and use it against them, and then kill them that way. I think it failed in this instance with Dream Child, with the comic book Super Freddy, and I thought that was dope. Mad corny.
I love that.
So whack, straight dog shit.
Dog, you should be that for Halloween. You could pull that off easily. I would
love to be Super Freddy. I'd be Super Freddy because I love Freddy. But...
I would dress up as the dude with the guns. What's his name? The Mask Avenger or something like that.
Whatever his name was.
We should cosplay that. Think about that shit.
And then we have Corey B. Kincaid, and we're in.
Look, homie, Corey, wherever you're at, you need to help us with this. Shout out to Corey.
So I just never, this one never did anything for me. I tried watching it. I rewatched it yesterday, getting ready for this, and it's just boring. And that's, to me, like, I'll deal with cheesy, I'll deal with corny, but if it's boring, I can't fuck with it. And so this one, I tried watching it. I didn't like the stare thing. I
thought that was dope.
I never liked that. Isn't that like a video from the 80s?
It reminded me of the Funhouse album cover from Kid and Play, actually.
Yeah, that was whack. At this time, Freddy
Kid and Play is the greatest.
No, I like Kid and Play, but that album was whack. But anyway, so which one? Funhouse?
Was dope.
What's on there?
The theme song, I believe.
Ola A?
Yeah.
No, that was the one before that.
The theme song from House Party 2.
Ain't Gonna Hurt Nobody?
Yeah.
Oh, I do like that song.
See,
anyway,
told you.
But that was 91. But this is
regardless.
Okay. Anyway, this Dream Child doesn't do anything for me. Like I don't know. It's not scary. It's not fun.
Well, at this point,
it's not funny. It's what I mean.
The tail end.
Yeah, it's at the end of the Freddy boom.
It's at the end of the Dream trilogy, to be honest with you.
Right, and I like Alice. The opening shower scene was dope.
That was crazy. I was like, oh wow.
I do like that, and the motorcycle scene I thought was incredible. Like
the Psycho Freddy was dope.
Psycho Freddy was incredible.
That was so well shot.
Well shot. But it just, I don't know.
Let me take over here. Let me jump in.
Yeah, no, but last time when I did my review, when I reviewed myself for the top 3, I had it a lot higher. This time I have it a lot lower. It's just one of those ones that just doesn't resonate with me.
And you know what's funny on that? The exact opposite happened for me. I was never a big fan of Friday 5, and everything that Spawn brought up, I felt too. Mm-hmm. Prepping for this episode, I put away any prior expectations that I might have had and any prior opinions, and just let the movie breathe on its own and tell me what it wanted to be.
Oh.
I walked away loving it so much more now. To me, I felt like it was done in '89, and I say this for prior movies, but I felt it had like a WB aspect, which I enjoyed. I know you don't like WB TV shows, and we've dealt with this a few times, but
Resurrection.
This is the first time I
Shout
saw
out
that.
Resurrection.
I saw that aspect in this movie, and I was like, "This is fucking cool!" Like I finally got it. It is a slower tempo movie, and I'm kind of okay with that, to be honest with you. After coming off of Dream Warriors and the Dream Master, I'm okay with them slowing down a little bit. I liked it gave Alice a little bit more room to breathe because that was something serious. Her baby, she, her and the guy from the last movie,
Daniel, was it maybe?
Dan, yes, his name was Dan. Got together and they're a couple, and they consummated and had, there's a child on the way in her motherly instinct. So it's with her dealing with the fact that she has a child now. But now it was interesting. Like, it goes back to what I've always said about Freddy being this great 80s cartoon villain. His new scheme is to infect the baby with the souls that he's killing so he can be reborn into this world.
Right.
And it was great because he resurrected his mom again to help bring this come to be. So
The writer, you mean? You mean the writer?
No. It was part of Freddy's plan. When I was watching 5, Freddy confessed he needed to bring his mom back so he can come back.
Amanda Krueger, who was a nun that was by 1,000 maniacs.
Yes. So that was part of his plan, so for him to come back. Because again, going back to his prior defeat from 4, Amanda Krueger was the key for him to try to come back again. That's why when you saw him, he was kind of disfigured, like and awkwardly looking, because he was trying to come back, but not at full power just yet.
When he was the ugly Krueger baby.
Yeah, that, and then when you see his arms kind of long and right here, like you see him trying to form, but he's not powerful enough to be who he was.
Okay.
Now, a few facts on this one. So you mentioned it was directed by Stephen Hopkins. He went on to go direct because of Nightmare 5. He got the job for Predator 2 because he only had. He only had
Predator 2. That's my shit.
He had he had half the time to shoot Nightmare 5 because of the scheduling. He only had 4 weeks, and they were 20th Century Fox is really impressed with what he was able to pull off in 4 weeks to meet.
I would have never thought that was a 4-week movie.
Right?
Yeah.
He said, luckily they were doing production already, but he had to really be on it and just get things going on it. So he didn't have a whole lot of prep time. He also went ahead and directed Michael Douglas in the 1986 movie, The Ghost in the Darkness.
That's a great movie.
I've never seen it.
I don't want to say it's a great movie. It was cool. This one with Val Kilmer?
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah.
And then he also directed Lost in Space, which I liked.
Never
That
saw
had
it.
Matthew LeBlanc from Friends in there. I enjoyed that movie.
Never seen it.
And then he also directed
Heard it was dog shit though. Go ahead.
this motherfucker. And then he produced and directed several episodes for the TV show 24 in its first season. So there's a little bit of what he did. It was the lowest grossing Nightmare movie at the time.
Right. It almost killed the franchise dead.
Is that right?
Yep.
It didn't kill it.
It almost killed the franchise dead. Almost.
They just thought it was time to retire him because again, this is back in '89. They had a full
cows,
decade.
yes.
Yeah, they were just thought times were just changing. He had only did $22.1 million on an $8 million budget, so they didn't make much of a profit.
Right.
And to kind of double on top of that, in 1989, the big three did all return. You had Friday Part 8, you had Halloween Part 5, and you had Nightmare 5.
Yeah, Halloween 5 was doo-doo.
None of them did well. In fact, Nightmare only did top 3. It didn't do number 1.
Out of those 3, do you know which, by chance off the top of your head, which one did the best?
I did, and I should have researched that. So that was my bad.
Santana, real quick. Out of those 3, see which one, real quick. We'll cut.
This is 89?
8, Jason Takes Manhattan.
Okay.
Halloween 5.
The Return of Michael Myers.
And then Dream Child.
As far as total gross and all
Which
that?
one made the most? Just kind of curious.
Yeah, let me look that up for you.
Yeah.
Because none of them did well, and it was changing of the times.
Yeah, it definitely was. Because remember we talked about it, how like Rambo 3, like even to this day I still haven't watched Rambo 3.
Oh, I love it. It's a great movie.
But like Ghostbusters 2.
Yes.
And real quick, I want to say one thing positive about this is that, and it's a small thing that I just liked, is the dad changed.
I agree with you 100%.
The dad, Alice's dad changed from a dick alcoholic to
because of the loss of his son. Like to me,
Yes.
that felt really like he.
and the continuity that you speak on.
Yes.
They kept it. I dug that.
That was, and I'm glad you spoke on that because not a lot of people saw it. When I saw it, I was like, watching this movie again with the first shot, I was like, that was fucking awesome.
Because at first you think he's not going to be at the graduation. You know what I'm saying? Because you remember him as being a dick,
And he's
he was
still
there.
ashamed of it.
Ashamed himself.
He goes, I don't know if he wanted to see
Yeah.
like, and it's cool that he said like he's dealing with that
Yes.
aftermath still.
Yes.
And I like the characters in this. I didn't think I was gonna like the characters, but
Well, my girl from what's that movie with Wes Craven? The People Under the Stairs. She's awesome in everything she's in.
I like the comic book guy too. He was cool.
Yeah, he's kind of corny to me. He reminds me of the boyfriend from Halloween 5 that goes.
I disagree.
But I like him. I like the concepts. I like the drawings. But
and then I forgot her name too. The one girl, the name escapes me, but she was in summer school. She
Kelly
was,
Jo Minner.
Huh?
Kelly Jo Minner.
Yes, yeah. I always love her when she's in something.
She's also in the background of the Lost Boys working at the store.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you love her in Nightmare 5. She's a swimmer, right? That's what
she kind of just
I love her in everything she's in. That's what I'm saying.
I agree. I wish it would. Whenever I see her, I think of 80s automatically, and I'm taking back to a great childhood.
Yeah, I always wish that she had a movie with Radon Shawn where they're sisters. You know what I mean? Like they give off that vibe. You know,
they would have made. I think they would have made a great pairing.
Yeah.
But going back to Nightmare 5, though, I did feel, and again, I think this is a great thing.
When did you watch it?
I watched it a few days ago.
No. I'm saying, when did you watch it in back in the day? Because I didn't. Again,
when
I
I
didn't
got
watch it
when I bought the DVD boxes, like
really. So you didn't watch it in 88, 89?
No,
sorry, in 89 or 90, 91?
I was kind of like a lot of the public at the time, just kind of moving beyond horror at that point, and then hearing the reviews, because I always go to the entertainment section.
Yeah,
and I always
Cisco and Ebert.
Yeah, well, even in newspapers, you kind of just look at what people were saying. None of them were doing well, so I was like, it was a fad moving forward, right? So when I got the DVD box set that I loaned you,
right,
that's when I finally watched it, and I think I was mostly watching to make sure the DVD worked, as opposed to wanting to sit down and give it anything of my true attention. So when I finally watched it this time in prep for this episode, I really liked what I saw. I think he did a great job, given that he only had 4 weeks to shoot. The Freddy cycle
opens my eyes on that one.
The Freddy cycle was done. I thought the nightmare scenes were done well. You could tell he focused on those and did. I don't want to say basic shooting for the high school stuff, but you could tell the creative energy went for the dream sequences, and then he had obviously, because there's only 4 weeks of shooting, did the basic shoots for the non-nightmare sequences, at least in my opinion. However, there was a few things in there that I thought was really great cinematically speaking. When Alice realized her boyfriend died, she turns around the diner, and then you see in the background the accident happening in real time. Yeah. That was that was good. To me, that was a really cool transition. There was
the where she's force feeding. Is that?
Well, that's more of a nightmare thing, but I do like the gothicness when it opens up and you see the church or this gothic looking building. I like how the visual effects came across in that. That was really, to me, that reminded me of either a Dio album cover or a King Diamond album cover. So I think the King Diamond album.
So out of curiosity, which one do you think made the most out of Nightmare 5, Halloween 5, Freddy 5? I mean, or Friday the 13th 5? What's your pick?
I got the numbers. Go ahead.
All right, y'all want to see what he says.
I would probably say maybe Nightmare probably did the most.
I'm gonna go Friday.
Okay, Vito's correct. Who do you got at 2?
I would have to probably say Halloween.
Yeah,
and then
Halloween
Friday.
was hot. I'll go 2 as Halloween because 4 was hot.
Okay. No. Came in 3rd. So let me give you the numbers. Nightmare on Elm Street, according to, of course, Google, total gross 22.2 milli.
All right.
And then coming in second in that order would be Friday the 13th.
Jason Takes Manhattan. Shout out Jason Takes Manhattan.
Oh yeah, 14.3. It's kind of low, bro.
It was.
Oh yeah.
And then Halloween 5 came in at 11.6. And my gripe, and like you said, the biggest gripe about Jason Takes Manhattan, it took an hour and 4 minutes.
Right.
To get Manhattan. I don't know if that had anything to do with it.
It probably did. Because the word came out.
But you see what I'm talking about?
Because I saw, real quick, I saw Jason Takes Manhattan opening weekend in the theater. Everyone was pumped. But once the word came out that he wasn't in New York, that's when it took that dive.
Well, that and times were just changing. For one reason or another, times were just changing. And you could tell, the studios took note of that. Paramount took note of that. New Line took note of that. Everybody was losing money now. And again, they spent more money on Dream Child. They still made a profit, but not as much. And again, too, for those that don't know, back in the day, when you get a theatrical release, the studio's only seeing 60% returns of that because they got to pay the movie theaters for running that. So again, that eats away at the profit altogether when you think about it. So they were just thinking it's time to put this puppy to bed, and
Okay, what do we got?
Which will then lead us into the next one, Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare.
Yeah.
So now Freddy Dead came out in 1991, and it was directed by Rachel, and forgive me if I mispronounce her last name, Talalay.
She was she worked. Well,
Yeah, she was part of the
right?
she was part of the family. She worked on production for several of the Nightmare movies. To her directing credit, she did Tank Girl in 1995,
which you love, which is dog shit.
Shout out Tank Girl.
You like it too?
Tank Girl is
One
dope.
It's been a while, but
She's also did a lot of work on TV. She's worked on Ally McBeal, Supernatural, Doctor Who, Riverdale, Doom Patrol, and Superman and Lois. So she's done a lot of work. This movie grossed $34.9 million from a budget of somewhere between 9 and 11 million, somewhere between those two numbers. And Breckenmeyer, this is his film debut. He doesn't know who Breckenmeyer is. He starred in I believe he was a skater in Clueless.
Yeah.
He was also starred with Tom Green in Road Trip, a great comedy.
Yeah, funny.
Does a lot of work on the TV show Robot Chicken.
Well, was
he in Boba Fett?
Was he in Rat Race? I think he was in Rat
He's
Race.
done a few more movies too, but I only put out the more notable ones, but he might have been in Rat Race, but I can't speak on it one way or another.
There's one where he's in the him and his buddies are like camping in the woods. Is it Matthew Lillard in that one too? I think
you're speaking about Seth Green. I think that's the one with
that's
Seth Green.
Okay.
And that was produced by Adam Sandler, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. The reason Alice Cooper actually starred in this one,
I loved him in this.
Alice Cooper. They've always invited Alice Cooper to star in one of these Nightmare movies, but he didn't want to play himself. He wanted to play something else. So he told him, "I will do this one if you let me play Freddy's father," and they agreed,
which was amazing.
Really?
And
yes,
this movie was the original intentions of this movie was to be the final, just to put a cap to the end, just be like we're done now, like there's proper send off, and going with that. This movie does honestly what's great about this movie. It feels like a retirement party for Freddy Krueger, and it's awesome. You may not like the humor in it. I know I didn't for the longest time.
When I first met you, you hated the shit
I did.
Out of this
Oh,
movie.
absolutely.
Vito actually hated the movie.
Yes. I did.
Okay.
On a just rare occasion, I initially despised this movie because I remember when I saw the trailers for it, I must have been like 14 or 15.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, cool, we're going to get something so fucking hard because it's been a while, right?
Yeah.
Freddy's dead. They're going to go out with the fucking bang. And when I went to the theaters to go see it with my friends, I did not appreciate the cartoony aspects of it.
I still don't.
But for me, I do now. I guess because after watching, let's say, Nightmare 3, Nightmare 4, and Nightmare 5, I've gotten accustomed to Freddy Krueger being a humorous villain, and since this is.
But see, that's why if they kept it the formula of Dream Warriors in terms of Freddy being still scary and menacing, and still having good punchlines for each kill, that's the perfect formula. Had they just kept that formula, not the formula of every teenager having their own personality and killing them with that personality or killing them with that said interest. That's not what you take from it. Take the formula of still scary, still menacing, and still have the funny lines. And that's the key ingredient that they never went back to.
And I could see that, but again, I can't help but to walk away with the feeling like this was just a retirement party and they were just celebrating it. And it was like he felt like more Bugs Bunny than anything else. And I really liked that I appreciated it. Like it was cool.
So let me backtrack for a second. So I think there's a scene in here that is 100% universal piece of shit Freddy.
Okay.
And it's perfect. You could put it in
when he's chasing his daughter?
No. The fucking Carlos's
that was so fucked up.
Like that is like he's making fun of not making fun of, but he's turns the volume up so much, and then you see him, he's about to make a pin drop.
Yes.
And it's gonna sound like a fucking sonic boom to poor Carlos. And it's just the torture, like the leading up, that's Freddy.
Yeah, but he played it, but it felt like Freddy. So Bugs Bunny like, because you see the actor like it looked like a Bugs Bunny cartoon the way he shot, because Bugs Bunny would do it too, where he would fuck with people and be like, huh?
But had they made that more scary, more menacing, and less cartoony, imagine the impact that a lot of people don't remember that scene. We remember it because we just watched it yesterday or the other day.
I've always remembered that scene because to me, I felt like
that whole little bulbous ear.
It reminded me of Alien, and it just always freaked me out. Ugh.
So, but imagine it would have been more talked about, like, Welcome to Primetime, bitch, the TV death, and it would be, or Let What a Rush, all those great lines. Imagine if they took it a little bit more serious with the Carlos scene. You know what I mean? You would have got that perfect, like I said, blend. But I want to just backtrack for it if I can.
Okay.
About we didn't really touch on it too much. Was between 87 and 88 and then 89, there was a great show, Freddy's Nightmares. And Freddy's Nightmares, there's a few episodes where Freddy's actually in it. Freddy's Nightmares, it's kind of like him being the Crypt Keeper.
It's an anthology series.
Yeah, it's an anthology series. And look, check this out. But it has a prequel in episode 1. It's called No More Mr. Nice Guy, back to Alice Cooper. So that scene, you never see Freddy's face as Robert Englund, but it's Robert Englund, and it's the trial of Freddy Krueger. Now the acting is subpar.
Yeah, I seen that when it came on the Blu-ray, and I was just to touch on that real quick. I was so disappointed. Like, it was. I felt like it was. They had the opportunity, and they. It was
like someone was filming a play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was not good. But one thing that I do like is that those girls that are they're twins. And one of the girls that always shows up is the blonde, I think is the main one that's like she's hypnotized by Freddy. And there's a scene in the show Freddy's Nightmares where she's about to get out the car and she goes to the dad who was the one that burned Freddy and goes, "Freddy's coming for you." And it's the little girl throughout the whole series that's jumping rope, that's riding her bike. That's one of the girls in Freddy's Nightmares.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
You know what sucks about that though? And they talk about this in the Never Sleep Again documentary. They were so drunk high off the success of like 3 and 4 that the TV show was like, let's just do it, but they didn't give much money to it. They didn't give no fucks about it.
And that was a mistake.
It was. But they said though the good thing was the people who worked on it said we could do whatever we wanted. We were showing so late, but we didn't have the proper support. And
so I used to watch Freddy's Nightmares right before wrestling or after wrestling, where I lived at, and it was just so dope because that was my Saturday. Without fail, Freddy's.
It had a charm to it. It has a charm to it.
It had a great charm to it, but it's so low budget. But the episodes is like maybe 2 or 3 other episodes where Freddy's actually in it. But I think one of them even Robert Englund directed. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
I gotta look. But I do know they said in the documentary of Never Sleep Again, Robert Englund only did like a day's worth of shooting for most of the episodes he was in because it was so low budget. And as low budget as it was for the first season, they actually reduced it by half for the second season. They even took more money away from them.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
They were just
sitting on a fucking lottery ticket. They could have done something great or legendary.
All they really wanted was to have his name out there to the next movie,
like they did with Friday the 13th, the series.
Yeah, they didn't really give too much shit about it, which is it kind of, to me like I agree with you, wasted potential.
Right.
They could have done something amazing.
That part, back to, let's rewind even further, the whole pedophilia, the child molester part, they don't even mention it in the thing. They only mention him killing kids.
Yeah, which is what.
But, so there's a scene where the cop stops the vigilante justice on Freddy, and Freddy's taunting the cop, and Freddy's taunting the Elm Street people, and he goes, "Oh, and your daughters, I didn't get a chance to know them as much as I wanted to, yada, yada, yada." And that's when fucking the cop loses it and sets Freddy ablaze. So, I mean, that's what I went earlier when he likes to toy with them and make it think.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And put that little doubt in their mind. Yeah. But all he really want to do in my mind canon is kill the kids because, now we backtrack to Freddy's Dead. You see him killing animals at an early age, like most serial killers, or then cutting himself. You know what I mean, and enjoying the pain. And but yeah, go ahead and another thing we didn't touch on was Freddy's backstory. He was the mother was a nun, Amanda Krueger, and she went by Sister
Amanda or
Sister Helen. If you could look up Freddy's nun's mom,
Amanda Krueger. But she went by another name though, Sister Mary or something.
Mary Helena or some shit like that. So she gets left in an asylum.
Yes.
On a holiday weekend, and
by accident,
and then all these maniacs, they rape her, and that's the evil seed. But I love it how in Dream Child you see the guy that looks like Freddy, Robert Englund.
So I thought that was his father, but you realize no, that's just Freddy in the dream without him being burned. And it was Robert Englund like doing that because he didn't have to wear the makeup, but he can be with all these extras.
You see him without makeup, like when he's the bus driver.
Yeah.
In Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
It's
or he's the nurse.
Yes.
In, Friday Nightmare on Elm Street 4. So I love little things like that.
I agree with you on that one.
Yeah. But back to back to Freddy's Dead. I saw it in the theater, just like you.
Yeah.
I saw a good buddy named Jimmy Walker, not to be confused with Jimmy Walker from Good Times. But,
Dynamite!
but we saw it and we thought it was just the lamest shit, especially with the glasses. But I always
The 3D
go
was
back.
bad.
I always go back to the Carlos scene because had they did more of that and less of the video game scene, like that video game.
I thought that was dope. I've always liked that.
I hate that scene, and it goes on way too fucking long, dude. It goes on way too long.
I agree with you on that.
Boop, boop, and he's like, great graphic, and it's like a 10-minute kill where he has the power glove, and it's like, I mean, and it if you weren't alive at that time,
You may not get the reference.
you might not get the reference to the power glove and all that stuff. You know what I mean? It just went on too long. It wasn't funny. It wasn't humorous. It was just corny and silly, and it was like a horror movie for a 7-year-old.
And that's what made it so dope.
No, it doesn't make it dope.
It makes it awesome.
Lowbrow and stupid. You know
Trust Vito on this one, folks. It was fucking
killed
awesome.
the franchise dead. It did. So
franchise
Freddy
was
didn't
already
die.
dead.
This killed it even worse, bro. It is the lamest kill. Great graphics. It was just bad. And then what's the next one? I think that was it, right? Because he only had 2 kills in that movie. He killed the main kid who thought he was Freddy's son.
Yes, it was like it was a take on Wizard of Oz, where the house was always falling.
That was lame, bro. I'll get you, my pretty, and your little soul too. That shit was corny.
I actually like, it's funny. Again, it goes back to the Bugs Bunny aspect. When he's riding a broomstick, all I could think of was him doing Bugs Bunny, and it just worked for me. I appreciated it.
Nah, I liked it better old Vito when he hated it because you had common sense, bro. This movie is so bad.
But see,
I tell you what, I do like it more than Dream Child because at least it had some balls, and it had my man from Alien.
Yeah, Fat Kodo.
He was good in that. You know what? But like I said, though, it's all how you look at it. To me, it was just a retirement party for a villain going
the
out.
backstory part, I thought that was great. Well, you get to see how Freddy was raised, how they made fun of him. And
I kind of still felt, I'm cool with it now, but the time when I saw it in the theaters, for the longest time, I thought that was a lost opportunity to do something real meaty with that. Given how I see the movie now, I'm cool with it now, but at the time, I felt like that was this lost opportunity.
Absolutely.
The 3D
I think the kid who played young Freddy when Alice Cooper is the foster dad is beating Robert Englund. I thought the kid that played him was great. The kid who played him reminded me of the comic book version of Rorschach. Excuse me.
Now that you mention it, I can see that.
Like the drawing of Rorschach in The Watchmen.
I can see that.
Looks like the kid who played Freddy, teenage Freddy in Freddy's Dead.
I was thinking of the redhead kid from The Christmas Story.
That would have been a good one too. He could have been a great young Freddy. Matter of fact, he does Freddy in as an adult in Freddy vs. Jason.
Yep, and he kind of also looked like the older brother from Freddy vs. Jason. The guy.
Yes, that's
okay. So
isn't that the kid from? Is that not the kid from A Christmas Story? Yeah, he was great in it. I mean, just it's like not even a minute, like maybe 2 minutes, just the face alone. And, just enjoying the cuts and enjoying the that's the thing about pain. You have to own whatever he said. That little line he had.
Yeah.
That was just super spooky.
The 3D effects.
Garbage.
Really? Okay, I'll take it back. I used to, again, up until me watching the movie a few days ago, I agree with you. They were dog shit. Now, I think the Blu-ray helped clean up a little bit. And given that I see this movie as more of a cartoony send-off, I'm cool with those little
sperm demons.
Yeah,
Get the fuck out
because they look
here,
cartoony.
Bro. They
to
look
me,
like sperm demons.
And I think
dude.
that was the intent. That was the intent, was to be cartoony because everything else in the movie was so cartoony.
Intent. No, they just didn't have the budget to make.
No, they had the budget. The budget was quite significant, sir.
Well, then they should have put more money on that than Johnny Depp's cameo or Roseanne Barr's cameo or Tom Arnold's cameo. Instead of giving me those whack cameos that no one gives a shit about, let's make the sperm demons look better. You know what I mean?
They look fine.
No, they did not.
They look like something out of
You're
Pac-Man.
trying to convince yourself, bro.
No, I walked away
with.
I don't. Maybe because I'm getting older. Maybe because I'm just appreciating the movie for what it is now. I'm okay with it because I'm
older. We're the same age, and it's still dog shit.
But I'm not expecting anything more out of something that was already made too, though.
Right.
So I'm cool with what it is. I'm cool with the end product.
The last line: Freddy's dead, and then it ends.
You guys want to move on now to New Nightmare?
Yeah, but it still pisses me off that she said Freddy's dead and it ends. But go ahead, yes. So New Nightmare and me have a long, weird history. So I...
weird like hell.
Not like me and Dream Warriors, but it's still weird. No, so I watched this movie on my Theo's Laserdisc. So when I first saw this trailer, I was like, I wasn't into it because I had just heard about Freddy's head glove coming out and pulling Jason's mask. So when I saw New Line Cinema, Wes Craven, and I'm like, oh shit, we're gonna get Freddy versus Jason. But then we got a swerve, and it went into some meta thing, and it was like the new Nightmare, and I see Nancy, which at the time I was all in because it had all my favorite ingredients.
Dope concept.
Ill concept. Yep. It had Heather Langenkamp, which is my girl, the best final girl in the history of horror. I'm standing on it. I'm standing on it. It had, of course, Robert Englund, Wes Craven, and it had John Saxon.
Yes, coming
it had
back.
All these elements that I love from part 1 and part 3 going into this one. And I like the way he looked. I like the jacket. I like the hat. I just liked the way he looked. I liked how the claw was part of his hand. There was a lot of things going for it. I watched it at my uncle's on the Laserdisc. I fell asleep. I don't know if I was tired. I was 19 at the time.
I think because we were young and we were expecting something else.
To me, it was so boring at the time. This is my initial.
Yeah,
right,
of course.
Right? So I was just like, fuck, this thing doesn't do anything for me.
Let me ask you something real quick before we go any further, though, because you brought up a good point. Going back, correct me if I'm wrong, because again, we got, you and I at different points in our lives got them watching, Jason Goes to Hell, the final scene, where Freddy brings back, pulls the mask down, right? I can't help but to feel when there was rumors of a new Nightmare coming out before we saw the trailer for New Nightmare, right? Because I thought I heard rumors of a new Nightmare being production, and I think if I can recall to my recollection and being 18 at that time, thinking we're going to get the Freddy versus Jason, and what we got was.
I thought it was just because I heard all the rumblings, or every time I would look at.
There was something about like a new Nightmare being
or like
Entertainment
magazine. They're working New Lines, working rigorously on
a new Nightmare.
Yada,
and so
yada,
I think they weren't saying versus Jason, but we were kind of hoping that's
what it was.
It was going to be.
Yeah, because a summer. So the summer of that came out, summer of '93. And then I believe this one came out.
Summer of '94.
Was it summer of
somewhere
or October?
Somewhere around there.
Right. So I'm thinking it's got to be it. Because I'm watching the trailer. I forgot what movie it was. Maybe The Crow or whatever.
So I'm not. So I wasn't alone.
No,
been thinking that
my whole crew, like all my buddies and everyone that liked horror, but they,
And this is pre-internet, so we
couldn't just go to Twitter.
We were just kind of like
IG.
We're all thinking with the same mentality. This has to be it. This is going to
be it. That's where we last saw the glove.
Okay, cool. Because then I wasn't alone then.
So I think I'm watching The Crow or whatever it was, and it says New Line Cinema, and I'm like, oh shit! And then the music or whatever, and then I see, and I'm like, this is it. And then it just swerved me.
Okay. So, but you didn't think it was dope though when you saw the initial trailer for New Nightmare at the end when you see Freddy come back? You didn't think the sinister look of him didn't captivate you?
I had everything I wanted. It was
just the fact it wasn't.
The fact that it wasn't Freddy versus Jason right away.
It was a letdown.
Okay, but it had everything else that I liked.
Okay,
from Dream Warriors to Nightmare 1 had everything that I liked.
Okay,
right. I just named them all, and so I was all in. But I didn't see it in the theater for some reason, and then I saw it on my uncle's Blu-ray '95, and I just fell asleep. I went back to the franchise right after Scream, and at the time, me and my girlfriend that I lived with, we were knocking out every franchise, right?
After you were just knocking it out?
Yeah, knocking it out and then knocking it out. And so again, I just remember falling asleep on New Nightmare. Fast forward years later, I get the box set, and again, when I was going to do my review, on the big three, my solo one, Santana could put the clip up wherever, I just said it's a wonderfully made movie. A lot of people have it in their top 3.
Yeah,
a lot of people have it in their top 2.
I remember we were so confused by that. I was so confused.
I never got it.
We never got it.
This time around, I said I drank 2 cups of coffee. I turned my phone off. And I gave everything to it, and I do like it more than when I seen it. The most I've ever liked it the whole time it's been around, 31 years or whatever.
Why is that?
Is
it because we're getting older?
I think it's because I paid it. I don't know what it is.
You said it right there.
Maybe I paid attention.
We paid attention.
Yeah.
You saw, like how we talked about earlier.
And I realized that it wasn't really a Freddy movie. It's more of a Heather Langenkamp vehicle, because she takes up, and in a great way, because again, she looks the best she's ever looked. Her acting's the best she ever acted.
She was
amazing.
gorgeous.
She was gorgeous. Her eyes sparkled in that one. You know what I'm saying?
She does have amazing eyes.
Yeah. So she was at her best. I mean, she was so good in New Nightmare. It just took it to another level. This was her movie. This was like Wes Craven and Bob. This was like them giving her, here you go. You know what I'm saying? And so she really just carried that movie on her back. And then the little guy, what's your son's name? Is it Dylan? Dylan, he does his best, kind of like Danny from The Shining.
Yes,
kind of
I got Shining vibes from that. They did really good on that.
But I mean, it's a better movie than I remember it. I think the next time I watch it, I'm going to give it even more. I'll still continue.
You think it's going to grow on you?
I think it's going to grow on me. I always love Freddy's look. I always love that they changed it up.
This might be my favorite look of him.
Really?
Something about the eyes was just so sinister. Like, and again, as ghoulish as he looked in 1 and 2.
See, 2 is my favorite look.
He just looked the most sinister in this one. Okay. Something about his eyes, the look of it was just
miss me.
Yeah, just pure evil.
Just pulls out, you miss me.
It was just pure evil, and I think Robert Englund delivered on this one.
Yeah,
and even Robert Englund, from what I
that's his favorite one, right?
It could be from what I researched. I believe from what I researched anyway of the New Nightmare, this was one of his favorite ones, and this was his favorite makeup in terms of how he came out looking like Freddy.
I like the trench coat thing. I thought that was
dope.
I have a Dixon shirt of Freddy, and it's the New Nightmare color scheme. But yeah, no, I dig this one more now, and I gave it 100%. I didn't touch my phone. I was wide awake, and I just wanted just to give it. Heather, she just killed it. She was just so good in it. This was her movie more than it was a Freddy movie.
So a couple things about this one. So this came out in 1994. It grossed around $19.8 million on an $8 million budget. So it had a slightly less budget than the previous outing. It was based on a lot of it was very meta. Craven did something that hasn't been done before. Went very meta on it.
Right. Pre-Scream.
It was going back to Nightmare 1. Heather Lange put a lot of herself into Nancy based on the description of what she got from the screenplay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my apologies on that. She put a lot of herself into Nancy, so Wes Craven really built this movie around Heather herself because her and Nancy are really inseparable at this point because she put a lot of herself into that character. So much that even her husband Daniel was based on her real life husband, who's a real special effects artist. Dylan was inspired by her son Daniel. A few things here. The Tyrannosaurus Rex that her son used to keep Freddy away. The actor Michael Hughes actually kept it. The one with the scars, he kept. Wes Craven kept the one that wasn't scarred.
He's in a movie with Bruce Willis that's really good. I think it's Mercury Rising.
Going back to this, remember the scene where he's on top of the rocket ship in the park?
Uh-huh.
So Michael's dad was also a special effects artist. Bought that rocket ship and put it in their backyard.
Oh, nice.
The actors Jesus Garcia, who played Rod from Nightmare 1, and Tuesday Night, who also played Kristen in Nightmare 4, played themselves during the funeral scene. This is the first time where I thought the portrayal of the demon was exactly what Wes had originally intended. And I thought that came out perfect in this, and we just spoke upon that.
The use of snakes in that really fuck with me because I have a fear of snakes, bro. And they use snakes a lot in this one, and it fuck with me, bro. I was like, ooh. Yeah.
Is that so Indiana?
Yeah, it is. It is. Snakes.
And
why did it have to be snakes?
And the original working title for this was actually A Nightmare on Elm Street 7, The Ascension.
Yeah, that's too wordy.
But Bob Shea and New Line Cinema didn't want the title Nightmare 7 because they felt people just wouldn't come and see it because it's already been one nightmare too many. So they felt so they went with the title New Nightmare,
which I'm not crazy about because new on anything is never good. New Coke wasn't good. There's a tag team called the New Midnight Express. They were dog shit. The New Road Warriors were not good.
New Blood?
Huh?
New Blood? What about?
New Blood from Friday? You like the New Blood?
No. That's different though.
Oh, okay.
No.
Friday is different.
No. It's new something or another. So it's new Midnight Express, new Road Warriors, new Nightmare. So New Blood is something different. This New Blood.
But just it says new in front of blood.
No. You're reaching, brother.
I'm gonna call horse shit on this one. But
the New Adventures of He-Man. Come on.
Yeah. Okay. That was all right.
There you go.
New Coke was whack.
New Coke was whack. You know. Go ahead. Sorry.
But with this movie, I really do feel like Wes Pine said, yes, Freddy Krueger is actually a demon. Freddy Krueger is the name that he gave the demon.
This is your mind canon.
In my mind canon. Because even there was a scene in there where Heather's falling through. The Blu-ray did a lot to clean this up, by the way. She falls. What I looked to be a fun house demon, and when I looked at it, that wasn't Freddy. That's actual a demon. Because you remember in Roman times, you'd have sculptures of different gods and what have you, good gods and bad gods. Right. What if this dream demon was a god from the Roman times, right? That had his own little sector, however Roman gods work, right? Because why is it that when she falls into his world, you see a lot of ancient Roman-like structures and pillars in there?
I didn't notice that.
I noticed that. So I wonder if this was just an ancient demon that would invade Wes Craven's mind.
Like a dream demon. That's what
Freddy is. That influenced Wes Craven to actually create the Nightmare.
That's what he says when he's writing the script.
Yeah, like in that, since they're no longer making Nightmare movies, the genie's out of the bottle.
Right.
And now this demon wants to get out because he's no longer, something about him is not being represented, right? He's not being worshipped. He's not being acknowledged.
Right. So this would be a side story. Like so if you were to do a marathon, where would you watch this?
All right, after Freddy's dead, because to me, it just almost feels like an.
So you're just all about like 1 through. You don't mix and match nothing.
No. Well, here's the thing. Oh, we can get to that with Freddy versus Jason, but in this one, I guess in the series, it kind of feels like there's Freddy's dead at the end of the series, right? Wes Craven came back to kind of put his little epilogue, like his touch, like, hey, we're done with the series, but I had one more thing to say about it. That's how I kind of feel about it.
What's your initial response when you first saw this in '94?
I didn't like it. I rented it. I was so excited. I didn't get a chance to see it in movie theaters, so I did rent it on VHS, and I was bored the fuck out of my mind. I was like, oh, I wanted something. Because when we saw the trailer, not together, of course, because different times in our lives, but when I saw the trailer, like you, I'm like, oh, this is going to be so fucking good. This is going to be what I did not get in Freddy's Dead. Right. And what I got was something much more mature and slow paced. And it wasn't, I wanted a hardcore balls to the wall slasher, and that's not what it was. And unfortunately, for many years afterwards, I didn't get that expectations on my mind. I was not looking forward to reviewing this movie for this episode. In fact, I was like, fuck, it almost felt like a chore.
Right.
But
until you watched it.
Until I watched it, because like Nightmare 5, I removed any prior opinions or expectations, and I just let the movie breathe on its own and tell me what it should be. And I thoroughly enjoyed this. This was great movie making. This was smart movie making. Maybe because I'm an older man now, I can appreciate the slower pace of it and not have that expectation of a balls to the wall. Let me just tell me a good story. Yeah. And I finally paid attention to the story, and it is genius. It is great. And I'm the one who slept on this one.
Right.
I slept on this one heavily.
Right.
Wes Craven did want to kind of touch upon the Freddy phenomenon, that how just kind of like
in the late 80s, yeah.
Just kind of like, now that we're done with the series, just kind of take a look, like, wow, look how big this thing became from one movie. That's how this started off at, right? And when it being so focused on Heather was because, again, it comes back to her and the demon that he called Freddy Krueger. Right,
which is the arch nemesis, like, they have the Laurie and Michael thing going.
And he explained to her, you have to fight him one more time. And it was so meta that everything that was going on in her life, he was already writing it. Yeah. And there was a surreal aspect.
She acts so good in that one, dude. I love the way she acts in that one.
So, which now brings us to Nightmare 8, or what most people know as Freddy vs. Jason. This was directed by Ronnie Yu. It grossed $116.6 million on a $30 million budget. Woo. So definitely the highest budget for a Nightmare film, but it was a combination of both a Nightmare on Elm Street and a Friday the 13th movie. Right. So you can kind of
the love for both franchises definitely represented, both showed up.
Both got $15 million for their part to make this movie. It starred Ken KRUEGER as Jason, because at the time he was 6.5 feet tall, so he was only 6 foot? 6.5. No, I'm sorry about that. 6.5. 6'5". 6'5". My apologies on that. And I guess so.
Because we wanted, what's his name?
I'm having
we wanted.
You wanted Kane Hodder.
Yeah, Kane Hodder, and he's 6'2", but Robert Englund's 5'8". And I guess from what Ronnie Yu was saying, when they were looking at it, They needed something to show on the screen significant height difference, and I guess between 5'8" and 6'2", you couldn't get that clarity enough.
Yeah,
so which always kind of baffled me because Freddy projects so big. I always thought Robert Englund was like 6'3" and skinny.
But he was supposed to be a small ghoul of a person, though.
Right, but I mean, but I'm talking like in my mind canon.
Yes, agreed.
He's always slender and tall, but it's just because he projects so big.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Where Jason's always been this big hulking tank of a character.
Yeah. What's his name? Kane Hodder. He was a little stumped why he didn't get offered that.
Yeah, and it
a lot of us were. I would have.
It hurt me that he didn't get it.
I would have loved to have seen him and Robert Englund together. I mean, I'm sure they could. I don't know if it was just. Who knows why? Because with me, you can put him in boots that
right,
raises him up a little bit. There were things they could have done. I don't know why they didn't do it.
He was so in tune with that character at that point, man. The good that he could have done. Yes. Freddy versus Jason is just. I mean.
Yeah,
man. It was a missed opportunity. Yeah, nothing against Ken. Ken did an amazing job.
Right. Oh yeah, no, he did his thing.
It's just that Kane Hodder. He really took ownership of that.
Well, let me ask you
character.
this. So they kind of make Jason a little bit sympathetic out of the two.
Yes, they had to.
Kane can never make Jason sympathetic.
Agreed. Because
I think that might have been. You think that might have been one of the reasons?
That probably could have been one of the reasons
because Kane is so menacing that Freddy would look like the one that's sympathetic.
And Kane wouldn't back down from this. He protects the Jason character. So, and again, they had to they really did their work. Like, how do we make this work? Like, how do you get people to root for certain things? And that's why they looked at different aspects, the pros, their weaknesses and strengths of the characters. Speaking of the characters, this is Robert Englund's last official on-screen portrayal of Freddy Krueger.
On the big screen?
On the big screen.
Okay, yes.
I mean, he's done conventions, but he's retired from doing conventions.
No, but he also did the Goldbergs.
Yeah, he did the Goldbergs in 2018, I believe, right?
Yeah. 2019.
And the lake that they used for Camp Crystal Lake was the same lake they were filming X2 X-Men United on.
Oh.
And both crews stayed at the same hotel.
Oh, that's cool.
And Bryan Singer himself at one point kind of just walked on over to the production to kind of check things out a little bit. So that's kind of cool that both,
I love both those movies.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was just cool that they were both filming at the same time. We were kind of just hanging out at the same hotel. Yeah. Now, here's kind of a sour note. Monica Kenyon, who played Laurie, kind of shit in the movie, and she was been quoted saying she thought the screenplay was awful and only took the role for money and to raise up her profile.
Wow.
And that was kind of disappointing to hear. It's like it's like this movie. This is her big, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, but I think this is her biggest movie.
Yeah, because I don't remember her in anything else.
Neither do I. And you had two franchises with rabid, fans. It's like, why would you? It's okay to feel that internally. I don't expect you to like everything that you do.
Right.
But kind of keep that to yourself, though.
Right.
Because it feels like a shot to the fans who I liked her. I loved her as Laurie. I
didn't know that. So you said it right now.
And so when
it kind of tarnished it a little bit.
It does, because when doing my research, I saw that I was like, well, that's kind of a dick move.
Yeah.
Like, I get it, but maybe articulate it in a different way, or just keep it to yourself. Right. Like you kind of shit on the fans, and you're looking at fucking three of them right here. This crossover has been in the making since 1987.
Yeah.
In fact, the New Blood was really them trying to, instead of getting the New Blood in 1987, they've been trying to get 88. Freddy. 88. My bad. New Blood should have been Freddy versus Jason, but neither New Line or Paramount were willing to budge on how they wanted their guys to be portrayed. So it took a long time.
Yeah, so quick question. So you thought, I remember we talked about it, Santana, when we did the Friday the 13th one, you thought that if it did come out in 88, it would have been whack. Do you still think that now?
If
Freddy versus Jason came out in 88, it would have been whack.
Did I say that?
Yeah. You're like, I don't think, I think it would have been whack. The graphics you thought would have not held up.
I don't know. I think if New Line would have been in charge of that, I think
Paramount would have had to flaunt the bill, because Paramount was way bigger than New Line at the time.
But New Line was still putting a lot of money into Freddy, and they made sure the special effects came out good.
Yeah.
I think it would be a toss up. I think there's a chance it could have looked whack, and I think there's a chance it could have came out great. Yeah. It just depends.
Yeah. I mean, the times too. We might be like, oh, that is cool.
It depends if the politics would have worked out. Yeah. But again, too, it didn't work out for whatever reason. And I'm glad it came out in 2003, because I just was fucking fantastic.
I love that one, dude.
So good.
Shout out Kelly Rowlands, who's
she was funny in that.
Insane.
I liked her in that one. Yeah. And she looked hot too.
Yeah. No, everybody did their thing in that movie.
Jack Ritter.
Yeah, Jack Ritter's son. I mean,
he was dope as well.
Yeah.
And it took him, not only did it take him since '87 to try to get this right, it took him 17 scripts.
Wow.
And no, 18 scripts. Of the prior 17, what they weren't getting right was the last 2 screenwriters that came in said, you need to acknowledge the prior movies.
Right.
If you do that, the fans will love you.
And that's what happened.
And that was the aspect that was missing from the other 17 scripts, because they were just trying to figure out ways how to get them to fight, but they weren't giving credit to their beginnings.
Right. Yeah, shout out Bob Shea too. He had a cameo as the principal.
Yep.
Sorry, V. Go ahead.
No. Keep going.
And you know what? During the test screenings, did you know that the ending was left out?
Yeah, because
there was a text that, hey, come back August 16th to see who finally wins.
Right.
So they got to see the movie, just not the ending of who actually won.
I thought you were going to talk about how they were thinking about bringing Pinhead in.
I think for like a sequel or something.
No. Well, the final scene was going to be, they talked about it. Pinhead, like with his tentacles, grabs both of them and like, is there a problem here, boys, or something?
I heard that as a rumor, but it's never been
it's
actually
on the Never Sleep Again.
I might have missed that.
Yeah,
I watched because I watched it recently, but maybe I didn't see that part of it.
Yeah, they talk about it. They that they were going to have him. What's his name? Doug Bradley.
Okay.
Reprise his role as Pinhead and just like, is there a problem here, boys? Type shit.
But
I think it would have been too expensive.
No, I think you're right on that, and I don't think they owned the rights, because didn't Dimension Pictures own it, and it was more of a right because New Line already had the rights to Friday the 13th.
Right.
It was. I think it was going to be.
Well, they didn't have the rights to Friday the 13th. They had the rights to Jason Voorhees.
Okay, right. But they couldn't use Friday the 13th. But again, we know Jason is Friday.
Right.
It's just
Jason X.
Yeah. And this does take, chronologically speaking, this does take place after Freddy's dead and after Jason Goes to Hell, but before Jason X. So this movie is canonical to both series.
Yep. Shout out Jason X.
And if you do a marathon, you could watch both of them right after. So you could watch it after Jason Goes to Hell, and then you could watch it after Freddy's dead, and it fits both of them.
Yeah. And the thing is, this version of Jason is only canonical to the New Line Jason, not to the Paramount universe of Friday the 13th.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, they do kind of acknowledge things that happen in the Paramount universe happen.
I really hate Jason Goes to Hell, so.
Yeah. You motherfucker. Dude.
It is a great movie, folks. Don't let this man dissuade you. Go see that classic.
No, Jason Goes to Hell could
go to hell. A fantastic
Jason Goes
movie.
to Hell could go to hell.
Let me tell you, folks, you will not be disappointed.
Yeah, if you want to see Jason Voorhees, don't watch that one because you won't get any Jason Voorhees. Go ahead.
I think that's pretty much about it. Let me see if I had any other notes on that.
When I first saw it, I saw with my boy Albert. Shout out Albert. Man, I was just instantly in love with this movie. It covered every base I wanted. You got a little Pamela Voorhees. You got the Elm Street. I thought the kills were just fucking insane.
You know what? On Pamela Voorhees, they tried to get the actress to come back.
Right.
And it just didn't work out.
Right. I wonder. I wonder why that was, because she would have been perfect in it.
I don't know if it was a pay or something, but
I mean, what was she? She wasn't doing anything at that point. It would have been like a gigantic movie for her. This would have been the biggest thing she'd ever been in.
I agreed.
Maybe she was just older. Maybe I don't know.
What about the kills on that?
Oh my god, they were insane.
Yeah. When he bends the dude backwards.
Yeah, that was dope.
A great one. Jason got the most kills. Freddy got like maybe 1 or 2 kills, if that. Freddy got almost 1 or 2 kills. Jason got the good.
Well, because he was a dog let off his leash because he needed Jason to make people think it was Freddy, just so they can remember him. And it was like, that's what got Freddy involved. Like, dude, I need you for this, and now you're just out of control.
Yeah, like the part where they have to give him mouth to mouth.
Oh, that was hard to watch still. I'd do it, but I have, I don't have the lung capacity. That was Linderman. Linderman was dope in that too.
When he twisted dude's head all the way around.
Oh man, such a great kills, dude. That one I could watch even without watching any of the franchise.
Yeah,
you don't throw that on.
It does a good job of catching you up without having to see the other ones.
But the opening scene.
But it makes you want to see the older movies because of the footage, though.
That movie, the use of the blues and the nighttime stuff, even the greens and the water fight in the dream.
And that was intentional because they wanted to play off of their strengths and weaknesses. And that was the first time I was like, oh, right, water would be Jason's weakness because he drowned, which they didn't really... I mean, they spoke upon it in the first few movies, but then there was never a weakness. But they had to figure out, like King Kong versus Godzilla, how do we make this work?
Yes, and it worked out.
Yeah, that was a great. I loved it, dude. The fight at the end on the water there on the lake and all that stuff was.
I like the Freddyisms because I like how they take more of the later movies aspect, the dream aspect of it. When he was playing ping pong with Jason, that was like so peak Freddy right there.
100%. Like go back to that Carlos scene, like the way he was just toying with Jason. Doing it is similar to like that, where he's just fucking with you first, then you're gonna go for the kill.
Or when he gets his arm cut off and he grows him back, goes like this.
Yeah. Yeah. I bet you that was improvised by fucking Robert Englund.
And that's the thing too. Only Robert can do that.
Yeah.
Robert
Yeah.
gets it. Like his timing on it, just knows what he'd be like when he goes, "Hey, asshole!" And he, he looks up. You
got to watch the commentary on that with, if you haven't yet, Robert Englund, Ronnie Yu, and Ken Kirzinger.
Oh,
commentary as you're watching the movie.
Yeah.
It's awesome, man.
Oh, nice.
I'm gonna do that now.
Yeah,
now that
I
you
need
told
to
me
do
about
that.
that,
I need to do that.
I need to pop that in, man.
Yeah.
I got it here somewhere. It's part of my rotation, but
Yeah, no, it's one of my all-time favorites, bro. I could watch that every day of the week. It's so good.
it is. The characters are good. The characters are well written.
I wish they would have maybe made some more, like even like we said with the Hellraiser thing, or even like maybe throw Michael Myers in the mix. You know what I'm saying?
My biggest disappointment was they didn't do Ash. They were so close to getting Ash.
Right, and I would have liked that, but then Ash would have been the main hero, and which is, I love.
I
Ash.
wish
That's
which
my
he
top
should be.
guy.
He
Yeah,
should be.
Yeah, but I like the fact that they kind of made Jason the good guy out of the two. You know what I'm saying?
And then you kind of get that a little bit. You do kind of get that, but you know what though, and it works because you can't make Freddy a good guy at all.
can't.
But you can make him the bad guy you're gonna root for though.
Yes. So yeah, and we've talked about Freddy vs. Jason on the Friday the 13th one.
I do like the fact though, going back to New Nightmare, the demon in him comes out when he gets
That scene
really
is
pissed.
so
when he comes out, goes you
That's
all red,
motherfucker,
it just rises
that's-
up.
and you just see the demon come out. Like to me,
Yeah.
like that actually again acknowledges the New Nightmare. It's not really, we call him Freddy, but that's not who he is.
Yeah.
That's just more of a demon.
I won't call this a gripe because I looked past it. And it's not Kurzinger's fault, I wouldn't say. Just they kind of make Jay look kind of dopey, like when he gets his fingers cut off and he's just a little,
Yeah.
But he is massive.
See, and then that's the thing. Kane Hodder would have not allowed that.
That's the thing, that's the kind of the give and take on that, like how much Kane would be very protective on that, and I'm sure. Here's the thing with this: Robert Englund would be protective over Freddy, and I think it was better that they didn't do it because unless him and Robert would work.
No, they're friends. I
know that, but wrestlers will say, "Hey, I'm going to do something, do that." If they would allow those two to be in the writing process,
them working together.
And
because they would, for years at the circus scene, they were just pumped about doing this. This is like their dream product.
Then you think maybe it was just
the suits.
It was just maybe the smartest way to go about choreographing the fight. Because let's face it, you have to figure out how they're going to fight.
Right. Well, he had to bring him out of the dream.
Yeah.
In the dream, like I said about A Nightmare 2, which doesn't make fucking sense. In the dream,
this motherfucker, leave Nightmare 2 alone.
And
Jesse has been through enough distress. Damn it.
So I mean, when he comes out in the real world, he's weak. He's just a human. And Jason, that's when he.
Well, I don't want to say he's not really. He took some blows and still was able to get up and go and just deal with it. Like no human
would maniacal.
No human would have survived being amputated and still pumping blood and moving. No human would have survived with that big old that cold cart that hit him and knocked him into the lake.
That was dope.
I know that no human would have survived that. He would have been dead.
All right, so we'll close it out. Nightmare on Elm Street 2010, directed by Samuel Bayer, and one of the producers on it is Michael Bay. This one took a lot of heat. I saw it once. It wasn't memorable to me. What say you guys?
Well, I agree with you. I don't think it was memorable to me until I recently watched it again. What about you? I mean,
so I in the theater, I saw it opening weekend, and it was one of those ones that failed the take-home test. So when I watched it, the theater was live, was pumping. They wanted to see Freddy, and there was no. I guess maybe the diehards were just so happy to finally have a Freddy movie.
Yes.
That they were kind of, everything was hitting right. But when I got it and I watched it again, I was like, this is so boring. And it just, for a movie that's trying to keep you awake, it feels like it's putting you to sleep. I was all in on Jackie Hurley playing
Freddy.
Playing Freddy. Robert Englund was the one that was pushing for it because they were friends from back in the 70s. And I thought, because straight off the strength of The Watchmen, how he just murdered that role in The Watchmen, to The Watchmen, I thought he was going to pull it off.
You know what's crazy though, to build on what you're saying right now on that? I think it's great that Freddy was the only one of the big three to get an Academy Award winner actor to jump in those shoes. That's how big Robert Englund's shoes are.
Right.
That it would only take an Academy Award actor to
What did he win on?
Huh?
What did he win on?
I have to double check. It was a... can you look that up for us, Mike?
Yeah.
But I do believe he did win an Academy Award when he came back into acting.
Right.
He'd done some movies, and one of them he got an award for.
Yeah, so he, I was all in on him playing it. I thought he was going to pull it off. He had the chops.
Oh, absolutely.
I think, I don't know what it is.
Was it because he sounded too much like Rorschach when he did the Freddy voice? Because I kind of got Rorschach vibes a little bit with the Freddy voice.
Looking back, hindsight, I didn't watch. Oh, sorry.
And maybe like Christian Bale Batman too, because it was like grimy, like.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I like the fact that they took it seriously. I like the fact that they were going with the more Nightmare on Elm Street 1984 vibe.
Yes.
It was just too much of a scene for scene remake. And like when you do that, it's
You're limiting.
Yeah, it's limiting. With this, you could really expand. And then they touched on the pedophilia thing and the child abuse shit. Like
it just you can't.
That makes it like a heavy watch.
Thank you. It does.
And so it takes away from
the fun
aspect, which, one didn't have a fun aspect. And to its credit, it was a heavy watch.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Did they first try to say he was falsely accused?
Yes, and that's what pissed me off. That's really pissed me off. And then when they said, no, he was the fucking...
But see, I thought that was realistic because it was like, well, how do we know he even did it? That's typical. Like, that would be typical teenage thing. Like, how do you know where, because you did this, now we're dealing with this ramifications.
Right. And the girl who played Nancy, and she's an amazing actor. She was in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I'm a big fan of hers. But Nancy has a different type of personality.
None of the characters were likable in this one.
Yeah, they were not likable. I didn't care if they lived or died.
No, you know what? I wouldn't say that. I did like Nancy and Quentin's desperation to survive this.
I liked him because I like him in everything.
I didn't. I ain't gonna lie. I did not
like him.
I like their desperateness. Like I like the portrayal of these people in a desperate situation. I did not like any of the characters.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I like the actor who plays him.
Okay.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's just something about it that I can't put my finger on. Where it's just, again, like you said, it's not a likable movie.
Is it the makeup that bothers you?
No, I thought the makeup was dope. That came out dope.
It's okay, the makeup.
Really?
I know
you didn't like because it was more realistic burn.
They went for the realistic burn,
and it worked. Because you know what, and maybe that's a good thing.
I mean, we're not talking about it. We don't. No one likes it. I mean, obviously, it didn't work.
Maybe, but is it because it was such a heavy watch that maybe people were like,
"That's what it is." I think it's they should have kept away from the child, because they were trying to be edgy. Well, that trying to be different from '84, so that's why they went with that aspect.
But it was also the Wes Craven's original idea. So maybe they thought, let's try this concept now and see if it works. They couldn't do it in '84. Can we do it now?
And I think it's never a good concept in terms of if you're not going to take it in terms of a supernatural approach. That is such a personal, hard thing.
Yep.
To add that supernatural slasher element to it, it's kind of like
he's a dirtbag.
It's kind of a distasteful thing. You know what I mean?
And that's probably what it is. It's just too heavy of a watch. Right. It's just there's no likable characters, and it's just like I'm glad we got the remake, and I'm kind of glad that they went with that route, only to show like, hey, they were right in '84 not to take that approach. Like it showed, like if anything, it's like. We got
proved Bob Shea right.
Yes, we got our what if. Well, what if they would have this way? Well, look at the 2010 remake, and you can see it was the right choice not to go that route because this is too heavy. Like you're not gonna. He's a fucking dirtbag.
Yeah.
Like I don't like the dude. Like fuck that Freddy. And it's sad because Jackie Earle
is an amazing actor. He could have pulled it off.
He pulled it off. And here's the thing. And it's a well shot movie, well produced movie. Acting.
Yeah, because I mean,
I'm not. There wasn't bad, but I wasn't moved. But I did like again Nancy and Quentin's desperation, and I did like Jackie Earle's portrayal of it. I did like the mom. I did like Clancy Brown, your dude from Bad Boys.
Yes,
I thought he was cool as a dad. I
do know that my dude got killed by both Freddy and Jason. The Asian kid. He was
interesting.
Yeah, he left the video.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, and
I thought the jump scares are well done though.
Yeah, I don't remember them, dude. That's the thing. This is an unmemorable movie.
But so thinking about that,
tell me about the budget.
So I was going to ask you before going into budget though. Before going into budget on that, is it because maybe this came in after all the remakes? Like did it seem like kind of long in a tooth? Because it had the trope. It had the tropes of all the 2000s remakes.
Yes.
And was it just kind of like been there, done that, and you just came too late? Like
maybe
Rob Zombie's Halloween remake was an interesting take. Whether you love it or hate it,
very true. It
was an original take.
The prequel aspect, yes.
the Friday the 13th remake
was
was like a love letter.
Yes,
to the original.
and it gave you the first 4 movies in the first 10
Yeah,
minutes.
it was like a love.
That's a trip. That remake is people shit on it. I don't get it.
I never understood the hate that Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
remake.
Maybe
but
maybe is it because it goes back, like I said, it came out in 2009, and we've already had all these horror movies from the 2000s, both remakes and originals. Maybe people were just, it was long in the tooth.
Maybe.
And then going back to Nightmare 2010.
Texas Chainsaw. That was another one.
Well, that came out before anybody else, though.
Right.
And that was so fresh.
Right. Yeah, and but look what they did. They had the same formula, but they added little things like the sheriff, and they added little things.
But it goes back to what you said about, you touched on something. It's just too much of a heavy watch for the Nightmare 2010.
Yeah.
You asked about the budget, so it made $117.7 million on a $35 million budget.
Damn.
It was produced by Michael Bay's Platinum Dunes.
It was a packed house that night. When I saw it in the theater, it was a packed fucking house.
It made money?
Yeah, it made money.
I texted you.
Yeah.
I liked it when I saw it in the theater.
You did, because
when I bought the DVD, I was like, I don't like it.
See,
anymore.
and I had to watch because I just had my daughter, so it was, I wasn't going into movie theaters,
Right.
so I watched it at home too. And I was like, okay, cool.
Oh, I bought it for you.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. You did buy it for me, and I watched it, and I was like, okay, but it went back on the shelf, and I never watched it again.
Yeah.
It was kind of, at the time for me, maybe because I had other things going on, it was just kind of unforgettable, and it kind of goes back to how I was feeling by 2010. I already had a full decade of horror movies, of originals and remakes. I was kind of like, okay, been there, done that. Yeah. Watching it now again, it has everything going for it, but just no likable characters. And again, I know I'm repeating this, but I can't emphasize this enough. It's just too heavy of a watch.
Yeah.
But
that's fair. Yeah.
It's very fucked up though, because he's mad that they told on him, so that makes it even more fucked up. Like, he's gonna kill them because of you told on me, which makes it even more fucked up.
Well, that goes to Nightmare on Elm Street 6. Freddy's dead. He goes after his daughter because she's the one that dropped dime that he killed all the kids.
I thought he went after her because he needed her to come back into this world.
No, he was trying to get the main kid to get him to more kids to get his soul back
but he
strong.
found his daughter,
similar to Freddy versus Jason.
But him being reunited with his daughter was by happenstance, by accident. He wasn't planning for that.
He doesn't go fetch little doggy.
I thought it would have been interesting if he was falsely accused and they killed him. And
that makes him the anti-hero, and I don't like that.
Okay. Well, but see, it would make more sense because to me, as a man of God myself, it just doesn't make sense that, you committed these sins.
Motherfuckers.
Right. But it doesn't make sense that you committed a sin. You should be burning in hell. Why are you coming back?
Right. It would be
like you should be paying for your sins in hell. Right. But he gets to come back.
Right.
Oh, so you're saying it doesn't make sense that he comes back. Right?
Yeah, like you are this horrible sinner, yet you come back.
But if he was falsely accused, then he's not the sinner, so that's why he's back. That's what he said.
That would make more sense. That you come back as a spirit of vengeance.
Right, but if the devil wants you to come back and fucking,
which is a valid point, which makes perfect sense on that. You know what I did like too? I know you mentioned they did a lot of scenes that they did in the first one. The only problem scene that I had that they remade that just bugged me, that kind of felt like out of place. It felt like it was shoehorned in. Was when you remember in the original when Tina was in the hallway and she's being lifted in the body bag.
Yeah.
I just felt they could have done with that. I felt like,
or when he puts his head through the window and he's just like moving so CGI 2000-ish.
To me,
you know what I mean? Like, the fuck out.
I was actually okay. Here's the thing.
Leave that alone.
I'm cool with. I thought the idea of trying to replicate
you don't need to do that.
But hear me out though. Hear me out on this one. I thought to try to replicate that or one up it in 2010 with new special effects was a good idea until I saw it implemented. Like, I thought it was freaky when you see the head moving around, but when you see the arm stretched out, it was just bad CGI. Yeah. And so to me, I felt like he had something there. Mm-hmm. It just wasn't executed tight enough, and it failed. Yeah. Like, it was there. Like, it had potential to be dope. It just, like I said.
I like there's a scene I do like, and I think it was not in the original, is they're in a diner. And he's stabbing himself in the neck, but he's trying to fight. I love that scene.
I don't love it, but it was cool.
Well, had they went in that direction where we're doing new shit, instead of saying, let's do this old shit that they did better, let's do some new shit and make it grittier, grimier. You know what I mean? Go the Rob Zombie grimy route. You know what I mean?
But only Rob Zombie can do Rob Zombie.
I understand, but I'm saying I didn't say
no. I know that, but you know what I mean. In terms of,
but let him go grimy. You know what I'm saying? Like like that scene with the knife in the diner. That was a grimy ass scene, and I think they should have went in that direction instead of the pedophilia. Just go with the child killer and just that type of kills. Where instead of going elaborate, go grimy.
Which in Freddy versus Jason, real quick, they do identify him as a child killer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think they even touch on.
Yeah.
Yeah. They kept it like he's for the New Line, the original New Line series. He is just a child killer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is I like that better.
I do.
It's the lesser of two evils.
Yes. It's not good either, but Frankenstein.
Yeah, I'm gonna remind you, it wasn't good. I like that one.
But Frankenstein, and they were like, well, how can people like Freddy in the 80s and blah blah blah? He's a child killer. I mean, they loved it. Frankenstein in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s and the 60s. He killed the child too accidentally. He threw the girl in the water. So, that's this is one of those things.
Going back to what you're saying, what scenes you did like, I did like how they redid the ending with the mom. I like how he came after her from the mirror and then dragged her back in. I thought that was well shot.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
I did like that. I did like that.
Other than that,
it's just a forgettable remake.
No, I don't want to say it's forgettable. I think that the fact that it's so heavy-handed. No, not heavy-handed. That's such a heavy watch. People just don't want to remember it.
Yeah.
Like
because I could throw on Friday the 13th remake any day of the week and have a good time with it. Your tits are stupendous. You know what I'm saying? There's so many quotable lines in there. You think I'm I just make rap music because I'm black? He's like, well, what do you make? Rap music. You know what I'm saying? Like just the little quotables on Friday the 13th. Even though I don't think they'd be friends in real life. That was my gripe when we did the Friday the 13th series.
Yeah.
But it's just a easy, digestible watch. And this one is just
the subject matter and his background is just how they went with the original background for him. And I know we're repeating ourselves, but I can't stress enough. It's just too heavy of a watch. Like, you don't feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you kind of want to go into a horror movie where you're like just freed from stuff. Like you want to.
It's
see
supposed to
their
be a roller coaster ride. It's supposed to be a
Yeah.
roller coaster ride, and you don't feel good about yourself.
It's just like, oh man, it's fucked up. But anyway,
so the Nightmare on Elm Street remake from 2010 was directed by Samuel Baer, who was a music video director. He did a lot of grunge music videos.
Oh.
His top one of the most famous ones that you may all know about was "Smells Like Teen Spirit" by Nirvana.
Oh shit!
He did that one, and he kind of like was the director of The Crow, who was doing MTV music videos as well too. He, coming from a music video background, this was his debut feature film. Was the night, and I thought he did great.
Williams did videos, and then he did a big budget.
Yes, so he has a great visual eye, and I think it came through on this one.
Okay, so what do you think about the legacy of Nightmare on Elm Street, Robert Englund, and so forth,
and the whole Nightmare on Elm Street franchise?
The franchise itself, yeah.
So the legacy is it's if you look at like Stranger Things and you look at the most recent ones and how Pennywise goes after their fear, and still the book came out around the same time as Nightmare on Elm Street, the movie. So people always try to say which came first, that type of thing. But if you look at 2017, you can see the formula of the Nightmare series and the kids. You can see how Pennywise, uses their fears. Same thing with Vecna.
There were similarities.
Similar with Vecna and Stranger Things. So you could see the legacy. So the legacy's always going to be there. Now, in terms of Robert Englund, there's a great documentary on Amazon Prime. If you look up the name when you get a chance, you just see how much of a nice guy he was. So that's why, in terms of legacy, he just got the Walk of Fame. I had to be there. I wish you guys would have went to the.
I know you hit me up, but I couldn't get out of work.
How was it?
It was amazing, bro. The fans came out in droves, bro. It was people dressed like Freddy. There was so many Freddy merch. The cast from all the movies. I saw Danny from Nightmare on Elm Street 4 and 5.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I saw the Dream Child. He was there. He's about the same height as he was in the thing. Just kidding.
You're fucked up.
Kincaid was there.
Boy,
he was so far away. My boy Kincaid. I was like, go, pussy. Heather had a touching speech.
Because Wes did make a villain that could speak. And not only speak, but with wit and even eloquence. I will never forget the moment I saw Freddy come to life. It was in the back alley in Venice, here in California, behind Tina's house. They went down the alley, everything was smoky, cameras were on a dolly waiting for this moment, and Robert Englund, always rehearsing until they rolled the camera. He would work on his right shoulder, dipping a little lower than his left.
Eli Roth had an amazing speech, and then Robert just just took it home. You know what I mean? He just took it home. The fans were eating up every word. It was just like surreal. I would have not have missed this moment.
You know, one of the happy accidents of a career in genre, whether it's science fiction or horror or fantasy films, is it makes you an international actor, which is just this great gift, you know. And I've done probably over a dozen films now in Europe. You can see some of them represented at the window here. That's me. There's my Russian poster, which is pretty cool, right, Eli? And that's just a great act to have in one's career, however many acts you get out of it. And I want to thank Eli. You know, I don't know if you guys just realize what a triple, quadruple threat Mr. Roth is. But if you think I'm scary, check him out in Night Always Comes. Okay, just an amazing performance with just a sprinkling of the master Anthony Perkins in his performance. And Heather, poor Heather, and I have been attached at the hip since 1984. Beauty and the Beast, you know. And I think Heather tried to escape Elm Street, and she wound up on American Horror Story. And then she tried to make another exit, you know, and now she's in the world of Stephen King, you know. Always will haunt us, Heather.
I had the day off. When I heard that he was going to be in the Hollywood Walk of Fame, every chance I got, I was looking to see what date, because I wanted to make sure I took that fucking day off. Yeah. So, like Robert Englund said, he thought that John Carpenter was going to take October 31st. But John got it like in March of 2025. So Freddie was like, fuck it, I'm taking Halloween, bro. And it was fucking dope. It was on Halloween this year.
It's funny because John Carpenter should have taken the 31st.
He should have taken the 31st.
But I'm glad Robert got inside.
Right. And it was just amazing. The fans were rabid. One thing pissed me off, so we're waiting in line. I was in line from 7 to just get to like right from where it was to the line. Mm-hmm. And so LAPD was like, all right, your first batch go, and then we moved up. Second batch go, moved up, and then so LAPD starts talking amongst themselves, and then it's almost time for the speech time, and they're like, everybody go, and everyone just ran. So I stood in line all morning for nothing because
I'd be fucking pissed.
I was so pissed. And I was all the way in the back, and I was trying to get photos. I'll send you some of the photos so you could insert. But it was just amazing. It was like the last time our generation is going to ever be able to have a horror icon of that status of Bela Lugosi.
Yes.
Of what's the one that plays
Lon Chaney?
Lon Chaney. You know, say this was our equivalent. Because yes.
Oh yeah.
You know, Kane Hodder was Jason, but he wasn't Jason the whole time. He didn't, exude Jason, you know what I'm saying? Even though we do love him as Jason, I prefer him as Jason. But a lot of people play.
Robert was there from the beginning.
Robert was there from the beginning, and no one could do it like he did. And it was just amazing. I was so happy. Getting to Los Angeles that morning was seamless, and leaving Los Angeles was seamless, which is like, you know, is rare, especially coming from Orange County. So it was amazing. So I think the legacy is secure. I mean, people keep, sampling little bits and pieces of Nightmare on Elm Street. And then, Robert's place is set as one of the greatest horror icons of all time.
I couldn't have said anything better.
Yeah. Now, as far as the future, I would love to see a Nightmare remake. If they could do a show, because there's so much meat on the bone with Freddy's backstory.
And they may, depending on how new Friday the 13th TV show goes.
I don't know who owns the franchise, but
I think New Line still does. I think Warner Brothers still technically owns the IP to that. Like, I think Platinum Dunes only could, I think they licensed out the IP. I could be wrong in that. And if I'm wrong, sorry.
Let's do our ranking, and then we'll wrap it up. So, go ahead. You want to go first, or want me to go first?
I'll do the jump off on this one. Right. So, here's my top. And again, these 4 movies all share top place because I can't put one over the other.
So they're all a 4-way tie.
Yes, it's a 4-way tie, and that's going to be Nightmare 1, 2, 3, and Freddy vs. Jason. I cannot put any of those 4 movies over one another. They have so many great qualities about them that.
So 2 is in your top 4?
Fuck yeah, that is just a great movie.
Yeah, man.
That's just a great movie. Second place, and jumped up a whole lot from this last viewing, is the New Nightmare. Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
I can respect that.
And I can definitely see that, hidden number 1 spot at some point. And I'm not doing that dancing motherfucker. And then rounding out the 3rd spot would be, rounding out for the third spot is going to be Nightmare 4, 5, and Freddy's Dead.
All tied too.
I really
indecisive shit right
no,
there,
not
bro.
at all. You know what? Here's the thing. I really do like 4, 5, and 6. 6 and 5 have really gone up in rankings with me to where they're as good as 4, in my opinion. For me, they're as good as 4.
Okay.
And the bottom of the list is going to have to be the 2210 remake for the things that we got discussing, the reasons why for. I'm not going to go into those again. It's just too heavy of a movie for the reasons we discussed, and that's my ranking.
All right, so I'm gonna go from worst to first.
Okay.
All right, Elm Street remake. We touched on it. Dream Child, boring. I don't know. It's just boring. Freddy's Dead, the cartoon campiness, and just the way they ended Freddy's Dead, and then the credits. You know what I mean? And then I do like when they show all the highlights of the franchise. Blah blah blah.
That was dope.
Freddy's Revenge, for the reason we said. I just think it doesn't feel like it belongs in the franchise. It just feels like a Freddy's nightmare.
Jesse went through so much torment, and you're still shitting on him. You're a dick.
Again, watch the documentary, then watch his documentary, and then watch Freddy's Dead, and then you'll get a nice.
Apparently, the documentary was not enough to save this movie on your ranking.
It wasn't. New Nightmare. I like it more. The previous list, it was all the way at the bottom. Now it's right in the middle. I feel like the more I watch it, it's going to grow on.
So is this rank? So is 4 or 5? The New Nightmare.
So we're going from first to.
Yeah. So what number?
Okay,
what number would be
3, 4, 5? It's 5.
Okay.
So and then in the number 4 spot, Dream Master.
Yeah.
Fucking great. And then Freddy versus Jason, and it's hard to put it in that spot. It was hard to put it in the 3 spot because I love it that much. I'm not indecisive. You know what I'm saying? I have my foot and sit down.
Shots fired.
This motherfucker.
Catch
But
you straight.
number 2 is for you, Corey. Nightmare on Elm Street, the original 1984. This is my number 2 spot, and we already know what my number 1 is. Dream Warriors, not gonna dream no more. My number 1 is the best of the franchise, and every time I watch it, it puts me in a great mood, and it's one of my all-time favorites. So,
can you stand up a little bit? Let me see that shirt.
Oh yes. And it's inside. It's like the Warriors.
I'll show mine off too.
It's like the Warriors style.
And then we're gonna do the Predator arm shake.
Vito, you son of a bitch.